Folks, we are live with the premier random party generator on YouTube. Rumble now too. X, we're everywheres. Everywheres. So, see now, Flint, you're confusing me because you had another name up there before. Listen, the guy with the proper New Year's background, all right, can't keep his online persona straight.
Right. I thought I was in Shadow Dark for a minute. That's the problem.
What? Say
We're not playing Shadow Dark tonight? I see Tim. I see Joe. It's not Shadow Dark.
Shadow Dark, we'd be petrified and running for our lives. That's how you know the difference, all right?
That's true.
That's how you know the difference between Tim's game and everything else in the universe.
Beneath the man with many names is the man with many images.
Yeah.
Joe the lawyer.
What do you call me a man for? Don't be gender classifying me, dude. I could be anything right now. This is a non-binary, all kinds of shit going on right now. I could be this. I could be her if I want.
I don't know. I think that's very binary.
You can be they them. That's fine. But any image you have is either one or the other. You don't have any ones that I question.
How about this? You question that shit?
No, it's Max. It's Max, man.
Very narrow window of time of people who would understand who the fuck that even is.
Let's advertise Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh my god, I can't remember. I remember that.
I know. I forgot he was a coach shill. Yeah.
Don't have a breakdown now, Joe. The one, the only Tim Shorts, and joining us in media res at some point will be none other than Mike Battolato. So Mike's like he wants to return the favor.
Joe is picture fluid. We're going to call him just graphic fluid.
I got a lot of fluids in me right now, dude. It's far before the show.
I saw the green lighting at the bar, and I was like,
yeah,
but they got radioactive material there. Maybe
I know. I saw the green glow.
Is that what's going on? Is that what that why I feel this way? I don't know. Could be what I was drinking too. Who knows?
Did you get the chest?
Was that?
Did you get the chest?
I did not get the chest. That would require me to hop my fat old ass over the bar to grab that chest, dude.
Well, next time we're in game and you want to jump over the bar and grab something, you remember that.
All right. Yeah. Well, my character is not my fat old ass. That's the difference.
I told you in the res, Bad Mike.
Well, I'm returning the favor. You guys crashing our show. I'm crashing this shindig.
What's up, man?
Oh God!
Wait,
all right,
Rob here. We're just on.
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
Nookie. Who knows? I mean, it could be his lucky time, you know.
Well, 37 has passed.
Yeah, listen. I mean, Rob. He's. Like I said before, he's usually here before me. In other words, before the link is put onto Joe's Discord server in a top secret room. So, any ideas, folks?
Whatever.
I get I'll get Rob like PMing me. Where's the link? Where's the link?
Imagine, yeah.
Where's the beat? Are we sure he's okay? I'm kind of worried once I heard that story.
Well, he's old. He might be taking a nap. So, as we all do at this age.
Dinner, man. I was like, that was a damn good burrito. Now I just need my burrito nap.
Oh boy.
Yeah, burrito nap or burrito crap.
No. The crap comes later.
It comes after the nap. It has to roll.
Yeah. It has to process. You have the burrito. You go, wow, it was an amazing. It was an amazing burrito. Not from like Chipotle or Taco Bell, but a real burrito. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, my recliner's got to go into recliner position. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You see the picture I sent you guys of it was like the plumbing hardware store, supply store, and right behind it, it was like the board, and right behind that was a Taco Bell, and it said something like, "We help with our neighbors. If you eat there, we'll help you with the problems," or something like that.
Like they'll clog your pipes. We'll let you clean them or something like that.
Yeah.
Job security.
Yeah. Really? Did we watch you tryouts today? You're lying, Mike. You're lying.
I'm just gonna every time somebody asks where Rob is, I'm gonna give a fake answer. So
Where's the beef?
Yeah, we're all busting his chops, saying he's getting laid or he's interviewing. We're all gonna feel like shit if he's like having a heart attack somewhere. Or something,
don't do that. Come on, man. You better speak that to existence. Don't do that.
Right.
All right. So how was everybody's Christmas since it was 2 days ago?
The amount of food, the indulgence, which is continuing right now with a big fucking bag full of combos and some whiskey. It's like the ancient Romans in their puke couches would be proud. Dionysus himself would say, "Chill out, motherfucker." I mean, it's been a fucking week. I think I gained 10 pounds. It's gonna be 5 minutes to get my fucking belt undone. Twice.
Combos, man. That's some good stuff.
I know. I got the nacho pretzel ones.
I got to ask you which one because is it the pretzel or the cracker?
Never get the cracker. Never go cracker.
The nacho, the cheddar, or the pizza. I don't like.
I don't like that either. My cheddar is my first choice, but they didn't have it. So at the little shitty gas station, so I got the nacho cheese pretzel. Good stuff, man.
Oh my god! And listen, it covers all the food groups, right?
It does. Yeah. Like shit, and shit is all covered in that comment.
Well, you got your processed cheese food group, your straight up carbs, and your sodium. I mean, what more do you want for a balanced diet?
I should wash down some blood pressure pills and some whiskey here, just to make sure I'm covered.
I need, the cholesterol gonna take. I'm gonna have to take double tonight.
Yep.
Clean those pipes after all those combos.
Gun, you got laid off? What the hell, man?
He's been all.
That sucks.
I know.
Since June, no gift. My wife did write me the sweetest card. That's nice. Yeah.
My wife,
that's all that matters. I got a nice card from my niece. She gave me like a couple lottery tickets, and it doesn't matter. But she wrote a nice thing in the card, and I'll hold that card till I die. It's just a nice thing to have. Those are the things that matter that you remember.
Right.
My wife and I don't even exchange gifts anymore because we have so many grandkids. We have to spend all the money on them now. I mean, we don't even get. We can't even afford anything for ourselves to get. They just keep popping them out. Like,
how many do you have?
6 grandkids, and I'll have a great grandson in March. So.
Damn! Holy shit!
It's getting tight, man. It's getting tight. I'm like here. Each of you can get one part of a present, and then you put it together and you got one present because I don't.
I buy you a Hot Wheels car, but they're going to be quadrupling in price soon, from $1.25 to $5, because they figure they can charge it. I read an article on that. I was like,
damn,
you got to be kidding me. I see, me and Rach, by the way, the whole month of December is Christmas. So we just kind of hey, something arrived in the mail. Oh, yeah, I ordered you something. It's like, yeah, there you go. Or, hey, we're going to go see Seinfeld, which we did last week.
Nice.
We do something like that, actually. We'll plan something. Okay, this is our Christmas present each. We usually buy something for the house because the house, we're wrapped up in the house at this point of our lives, so we're probably not going anywhere. So we'll buy something nice for the house and get to look at it all the time. And that way, I mean, we're too old to need jewelry. What do we do? Jewelry or I don't know, pretty baubles or whatever. That we just need practical shit. Oh, here's a blender. Oh, fuck, I'd go ape shit if I got a blender. I'm like, oh man, that's the best gift ever. This is awesome, dude. A blender.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim getting some compliments here.
What's that?
Tim, you're getting a compliment here from Mr. Gunn.
What did I do? Tim wanted to. Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Gunn. Yeah,
nice.
Thank you. Well, it's easy with these guys. I'll tell you that. They make it fun to want to kill them.
Satisfying, right?
We do our part.
Yeah.
Compliments. It makes it fun to want to kill them.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I take a Taco Bell gift card. Right? Oh, you know what? I lied. I did get a Starbucks gift card because they had a gift exchange. I forgot about it. And my whole family had. Yeah, they had a gift exchange. So I ended up with a Starbucks gift card. I don't even go to Starbucks.
You get a $20 Starbucks gift card. That's good for 2 cups of coffee.
I'd say if it's $50 card, I can get a couple of coffee and a sandwich.
Right.
I got a couple of Longhorn Steakhouse cards. I got some Amazon cards. My parents are just like, my parents will give me like 2 small gifts to unwrap, and then it's like, here's some Amazon cards. Go have at it, because we don't know what the fuck get you. Just go get something for yourself. No.
I got kind of a good gift the month of December though. I got kind of a good gift that I'm going to throw at you guys. So my granddaughter. So for those that know, I obviously collect D&D, but I'm a huge comic book guy. I have probably about 15,000 comics. I've got ridiculous amount of comics stashed away. But nobody likes comics. No, my kids didn't like comics. My grandkids didn't like comics. So I figure they're all going to get sold. I've been selling the hell out of them the last few years. And my granddaughter comes to me. She's 16. She goes, yeah, Papa, I think I like comics now. I'm really into. I bought a bunch of online comics. I got Batgirl. I got Catwoman. So she likes all the DC chicks: Supergirl, Batgirl, Catwoman, Oracle. All that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so she started talking about it, and I realized what I've been missing all my life is talking comics with a kid of mine. I'm like, okay, you just became the golden child. So I boxed up a whole set of Birds of Prey comic run. I think it's like 130 issues, and that's what she got for Christmas. And I'm like,
oh wow,
the rest of you,
that's awesome.
Yeah, she was all excited because Batgirl's in that, Black Canary, Catwoman, they're all
nice.
And so she was all excited. So she goes. So I asked her, what do you want? Well, that was just I just gave it to her because I said, look, I don't need this stuff, and I'm just going to start getting rid of comics so you can start having it. And I said, what do you want for Christmas? She goes, well, I'm kind of into DC comics. Would you take me to see Superman next July? I'm like, yes, I'll take you to see Superman next July. So now I said, I said all the kids' pecking order. She just went up here, and they were like, you guys are down here. You need to start picking up the pace. So your other grandkids, you're gonna have to start picking up the pace because she just went whoop all the way up here.
Nice.
So that was
they get a Christmas card, they open up, and it just says "Do better."
Start liking your grandpa's hobbies, and maybe you'll get something in the card.
You must be rocking with me now. I got my Tome of Spell Mastery from Necromancer Games. I had a good haul all in one day. I got the Tome of, I'm holding it in front of my cameras if you fuckers could see it. I got a Tome of Spell Mastery, and I had 2 Harnica books came in, Shabisa and Cande, and then I got Dungeon Denizens from Goodman with a dent in the corner Tim would be hateful of. But yeah, for 5e from Goodman Games. All this shit came in one day. It was a great fucking Christmas present. It weighs a ton, cool. But yeah. It's not bad. Not bad. Any D&D stuff for Christmas, guys? You get anything cool or fun?
My Harn stuff is still unpacked, so I mean, I guess that counts, right?
Yeah, you got it. Oh, well, it's like Schrodinger's cat. Until you unpack it, you don't know if you got it or not. Really.
I gifted myself, by the way, the set of 12 Lego minifigs.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't, but you got to assemble this shit. But I think we're just going to be laughing at me for days because I went, oh, they don't come assembled. Oh, now I'm going to have to sit down with these little instructions and try to figure out how each of these assemble. But yeah, and then that was on Walmart. Fugly mentioned it in the comments when we were doing one of the Talking Crits, and then now you can't find it. No, Amazon now apparently has it because they come randomly otherwise, and you don't guarantee getting a full set. But somebody was smart enough to, associate each UPC code with the right thing, and then assemble sets, and then sell the sets at an inflated price. Mm-hmm. Which is probably not a bad idea, but still.
That's the American way, man. Make a few bucks.
Yeah, so I have that, but I have yet to do more than open up the main box and look. They went, oh, they don't come like in little bubble wrap, like blister packs, and go, oh, that's no. I have to wait till my Lady of Pain as I randomly open up stuff and assemble it. So,
Tim, you and Rob live in the same town. I'm honestly getting a little worried. I mean, it can't be that it's getting nookie. It's been more than 2 minutes, so and he never misses. So I can't figure what the hell it must be. You know any cops in town? You could give him a call
Yeah, do a wellness
do a
check.
safety check or something.
Yeah, do a wellness check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
call him up and say, yeah, he's not online.
Not online? It's been more than
go over
2
there
minutes.
and check it out. Yeah.
There are no other options. It's got to be something bad going on.
He just texted me. He needs another $2,000 for bail. So yeah, I don't know what it is this time
again, didn't he?
Yeah,
That's
I,
what
you know, I've been, he knows better. He's all better.
Well.
Maybe he's ass deep in like fixing a printer. I think
his gaming bookshelf finally collapsed.
I
think I would have felt that though from here. Yeah,
yeah, that would have ripped on a Richter scale.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I got some D&D Lego minis.
Wow,
It was a little fun. So you
Yeah,
got to
show
open
that
up
shit,
a
man.
little
Let's
pack
check it
of
out.
like a pack of 6.
Yeah.
And sit there and just sit around, put those little things together. They're fun just to kind of display. So
okay, yeah. I got to put mine together, so I'm just like, I guess that's going to be a little bit of a process. I need to be organized to do that. Jeez.
Mr. Gunn, I wouldn't know, but thank you for the info.
Oh.
yeah, has it been 4 hours? That's what we need to ask.
I know. What
If it's only been 4 hours, you may need to see a physician.
Yeah.
The UFOs are probing him. Full body cavity search. Yep, that's what happens.
Help me, Spock. Help me. Oh, God.
This is the most fun I've had in a while on this show. Rob not here to defend himself. This is kind of fun.
Time out.
Well, hold on. But it means we can actually partially, circle around topics that may be vaguely political.
I know.
And topical. Not that, that's the thing. Like, Watsy didn't shit the bed this Christmas as, like, most OGL dramas and other shit they've done around, like, the holiday season. They didn't go out of their way to do anything worse than they normally do.
They didn't lay anybody off.
Yeah, but
Eric, there's plenty of time.
They got a week, yeah.
There's plenty of time. Yeah. I mean, the OGL was a little bit, in mid-November or January, I think.
So. Well, the OGL kicked off in, like, the end of November.
Oh, that's right, the end of November.
And then they tried to fix it in January by going, whoa, no, that leak that was just a proposed contract.
Right, yeah.
Right.
We were sending out to people to sign. It wasn't the real one that we were gonna do. No, we got a better version.
I think they're too busy just selling shit off now, aren't they? It seems like they're just selling things now.
Well, when I win the fucking Mega Millions tonight at about 11 o'clock, I will buy fucking D&D from Wizards of the Coast. I will make all the shit they've ever put out, like free. Then I'm going to publish my own RPG under the D&D name. So be prepared, everybody.
I've got a few years for retirement. I'll work for you for 4 years, Joe. So
No worries.
I have no clue what I'll do, but I might whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Just make some whiskey and edible runs, and you're good.
There you go.
Don't forget the combos.
Yeah.
All right, we got somebody coming in.
Uh-oh.
And it's not Rob.
Oh.
One of these people is not like all these people. One of the person missing. Where is he? What happened?
Rob?
Yeah, what did you do to him, Greg?
He didn't want anybody to know, but
boy.
Rob actually got really excited and went down and enlisted in the Navy. I tried to stop him, but he was, how it is. These young kids get it in their head that they're going to do something, and you can't stop them.
They're gonna call him Grandpa for a reason.
That's
Could
right.
you
Well,
imagine Rob in the service, any service whatsoever?
yeah. Well, after he got rejected by the Pinkertons, he really took it hard, and he needed that ego boost. He wanted to be important.
Man.
And that's sad because I was going to tell him how wrong he was in that last. What's the Wednesday night thing called, you guys?
Talking crit.
Talking Crit. There you go. The Talking Crit.
Thanks,
Where
Greg.
he got into it with center square. I forget his name.
Jim Kitchen.
Sorry,
Jim Kitchen, yeah.
I'm tired.
Do you have? Yeah, I'm about to say,
Anyway.
are you on edibles? Did you get some for Christmas? Because it sounds.
No,
It sounds
I'm
like
good. But he was totally wrong, and so was Jim. And I was like,
Well-
I didn't even know because I'd come in after they had argued.
Quick summary, Greg, because I didn't hear that. What
Well-
were they saying and how were they wrong?
Well,
'Cause I
think it
love
was
telling Robbie he's
Mike
going to
had
defend
asked,
himself and talk for an hour and a half about it.
Mike had asked a hypothetical about if you were in charge of WotC, what would you do differently? And Jim had this whole elaborate plan of what he would do differently, and then Rob was like, "Yeah, but we don't need WotC," and he went off on this other tangent, like which goes against the hypothetical that Mike was asking. I was like, we're not asking if you were God, what would you do? We're asking if you're in charge of Wizards of the Coast. And so he's wrong about that. But both of them were wrong because the real thing that Wizards of the Coast should be doing that they're totally never going to do because they suck ass is actually providing the skills for people to do these things on their own. The reason why everybody can't be an independent Kelsey Dion like Rob was arguing for is because they don't have the skills to do that. Kelsey's success is because she sits at the intersection of a ton of unique marketing, design, layout work that she did, all kinds of stuff that she did herself. Most people don't have all of those skills together. They might have one of them.
Interesting.
So you might have somebody who's a really great writer and they put out great material, but it doesn't have the right layout design. They don't market it. It's not as successful as it could be. And if Wizards of the Coast was out there looking to pair people together, say, this guy's got really good writing ability, this guy's really good at layout design, and have them work together that was what was so great about the OGL design, having a system where people could work together. And we need a Wizards of the Coast out there, which Rob was saying, we don't need one big hegemonic force. We need a force to gather the skills together because individually not everybody is Leonardo da Vinci. There's some people who are just good at one or two things, and the hegemon can bring all those people together to make products together. That's the whole reason why they were successful in the 80s is because we didn't have all the technology that we have now. The technology has just moved us closer to being able to have everything super easily and affordable. But everybody in this chat knows getting editing work, getting serious kind of polish and touch-ups at the end is something that independents all struggle with. Finding all that kind of stuff is super hard. And that's why it would be great to have a hegemon like Wizards of the Coast. Now, they don't need to go around telling everybody what to do. They need to be a facilitator, which they refuse to, because that would be acknowledging that other people might be better at it than they are.
But Greg,
I don't think they.
Is any company doing that though? Is any big RPG company doing any facilitating? I mean, I'm not aware.
I think Goodman Games does. I think
Goodman Games has put together some stuff like that. Yeah, ideally, companies that's the promise of a company like Paizo or something, is that it could bring together a different voice. And it's okay to have multiple different voices. I'm not attached to there being a hegemon, but the reason why you have big aggregators in every media space is because they bring together very difficult to assemble resources. Yes, you could shoot the next fantastic movie on your iPhone with a budget of $5,000, but it's going to be really hard for you to do the next Star Wars that way. So ideally, they would be out there looking for people with great Star Wars stories and bringing those people forward. Instead, they've totally bungled the shit out of it. That's what I'm saying. So all of these companies, if they could just step back and be facilitators of what people want, rather than trying to dictate to people what they should want, that would be the path forward. That's what I think. Both of the approaches that Jim and Rob were coming from were too extreme, or myopic and like Rob thinking everybody can do what Rob or me does in terms of assembling all the elements just to get a book to publication is an enormous hurdle. It's so hard.
Is YouTube now the facilitator though? Are the small creators the ones that are facilitating? I mean, you can look up. I mean, you could literally Google anything in the space and find somebody who's a YouTuber or whatever explaining how to do that.
That's true, but if you don't have any natural talent for that particular thing, I mean, there's guys who are great writers who are just not graphics design guys,
right?
And they just can't. Whatever the time that they spend working on that could be much better served to them just writing more and handing that off to somebody else. I'd love to see more partnerships, since it's very difficult personal politics to set up partnerships in small companies. But those are the kind of things that I wish we had more traction on teaching. I'm not telling Kelsey what to do, but if she had a real focus of running several videos where she really talked about what she did to market Shadow Dark successful,ly,
I think
down to very specific.
Right? Yeah, her wife was the marketer.
I know that, but I'm saying having those kind of real nitty gritty points about this is exactly what I'm doing, but very few people want to go into that detail because they're marketing it. It's their differentiation that they'd be giving up by putting that out there, and they don't want to do that. The guy who's really great at layout doesn't want to sit down and teach everyone else to be really great at layout. He wants to be making money doing layout, and it's complicated, but
right.
Yeah, I think that's why you need a benevolent kind of force with deep pockets to arrange for those kind of things to come together, instead of here's what I think you need to know to be a better person. Here, play this module. It will teach you good values or some shit like that. And that's a waste of fucking time, man.
Well, I agree with who. I'm sorry, I'm flipping around here on the internet looking for stuff, but I agree with whoever said that that's what YouTube does, because that really is what YouTube does now. YouTube has all these facilitators and the Jenny D's and the Professor DMs and the Dungeon the Beast guy, whatever. That's what they do. They have videos about here's how you do this and here's how you do that, and if you want to do this. And so really, YouTube is a huge facilitator of that, of teaching that. And you're right though, Greg. Why doesn't WotC do that? And this all goes back to the fact that as much as they bungle stuff, has anybody ever seen or heard WotC's official YouTube channel or podcast or whatever the hell they call it?
It's fucking terrible.
Yes.
It's these two idiots talking nonsense.
It's
complete
awful
marketing bullshit.
It's
the whole
awful,
time.
And there's only purpose that exists is to pimp their products, and not very well, by the way. Pimps are very bad. Yeah. And it's just terrible. That's what they should do in something like that, but they don't. They just have this awful, horrible mess of a channel. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. The only channel worse than that is the Gen Con channel, and Eric can attest to that.
Well, I can answer both of those with the same thing, Mike. It's that there's filters in place that make it so that people who are sufficiently interesting run into severe problems. So the more interesting you become, the more of a bad bet you are for advertisers, the more of a bad bet you are for the corporation having to apologize for you, so to speak. So they don't want anyone who's sufficiently interesting to produce a product that would be really great. So then instead they take the most bland piece of shit stuff and they're like, look, this won't get us in trouble at all. Well, yeah, because it sucks.
Right. They don't
nobody wants to show that the whole thing with Shadow Sun has been that they refuse to support their own fucking product because it's too interesting. So instead they're not running any of their old stuff on YouTube, which they could be running constantly. They could hire somebody for peanuts what people would work for in this industry. If they could hire somebody for the smallest pittance to just run YouTube videos once a week on Dark Sun.
Greg, they probably don't know what they have. It's like the people who run Warner's or those big movie companies. They don't know that they have tens of thousands of movies in their archives that are ready to be like digitized or whatever the fuck and make a shit ton of money on a streaming network. They don't know what they own. I think.
I don't disagree with that at all. I don't. But Joe, at a certain point, they have to. I get into trouble. This happened this whole year. We've talked about that. At a certain point, they have to own their own stupidity. Like if I keep hiring people who are fuck ups, if I hire 200 employees and they all suck ass, that's on me. Like at some point, you can't just be like, well, things happen, whatever. Yeah, like I mean, at some point, you are the fuck up.
Well, you remember the old phrase
you have to step back.
Like type A or A-level people hire other A-level people. B-level people hire C-level people because they're insecure. And on and on. C-level people hire D's hire E's. I think that WotC's at triple Z level right now, and that's the fucking problem we're dealing with. You know what I mean? They're at ultimate incompetent retard fucking level, and they can't get out of their own way. They don't know anything. They don't know what they're doing. All they're doing is they're worried about offending somebody, so they put out milquetoast bullshit. I think that's really the problem, And
my biggest post on Google Plus, and it was like a 200,000 like post, was I wrote an open letter to them after they fucked up big time on something. So it's hard to keep track of their fuck ups at this point. But I said, this is what you should be doing. I said, I don't even know who your social media people are, and I'm huge in this. Like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
If I was big into movies and I couldn't find Paramount's account, then what the fuck are you doing? Like you guys have to actually be out there in the space. You have to make posts. You have to be interesting. You have to interact with people. And I went through all these things that they could do, which they have, of course, no desire to do, have never implemented. It's been over 10 years now. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do what it takes to even be a small account, much less be a massive player in their own industry.
Tim, you were going to say something like twice, I think, and then you got run over by all of us. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to, you were asking why WotC doesn't do it, because they can't. They haven't been able to do it with their own staff, let alone nurture other people to be. They can't even do it with their own staff.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Greg because, I kind of tuned in tonight. I want to say hi to you guys, and I wanted to show up, and because you guys, pissed all over our Wednesday show 2 weeks ago. But also, I was hoping to hear one great 2024 rant, and thank you, Greg. You gave it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother, for that one last 2024 WotC's a bunch of idiots rant, because I could do a show. We could do a show on that every week. Eric and I just get tired of talking about it eventually. Like, oh my God, do we have to talk about how stupid they were again this week? And we're like, did anything go on in the game world? We're sitting there with Jim on Wednesday nights going, did anything else go on except WotC did something idiotic this week? I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. So, but we have a lot more idiocy to look forward to in 2025. So it's not going to.
What's the latest on their 3 books and the VTT? I mean, where are they at in their publication of the 3 books?
Monster Manual, I think, is in February.
Oh, that's after Christmas. Perfect. Yeah.
Well, it could be for people that are celebrating President's Day and Martin Luther King Day.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the gift to purchase for the, I don't know.
Oh, Valentine's Day.
That is one sexy gift for Valentine's Day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, I talked to like 2 of the local game stores that are around here, and they were glad it was being released in February, because they said that's their one of their lulls, and this would be people in the store.
That makes sense, I guess.
So I mean, they were happy they split them up.
Will it bring people in the
will
store?
Definitely. I said it will increase it. I didn't say it'd be like a booming thing. I didn't say anything about but I mean, like I was talking to him because I was trying to find information about the player's handbook and then the DMG, and they said that both of them, both said that the player's handbook sold twice as many as the DMGs. So
Makes
they
sense,
came out as boom, and then the DMGs were okay, and they said they're probably expecting the monster manual to be probably the level of of course the DMG sales or something like
That's
that.
That's not so great though, if you think about it. I mean, because if you only got twice the amount of PHBs to DMGs, an average group is 3 to 4 people, right? I mean, so the DM is buying the book because you got to own the book, you're running the game, and the one player is buying the fucking book, right? And so that's not that great. You would expect at least a multiple of 3 or 4 to make it seem like they're doing well,
It's hard to serve 3 turd sandwiches in a row without the customer balking a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys are on? I'm on social media quite a bit. Well, mostly just Facebook. I don't know, Discord and stuff. But have you noticed a really huge a suspicious upswing in people posting in gaming groups about? And this isn't Zach zombies. This is other zombies. I've seen Zach zombies too, by the way. But no, posting about how incredible the new books are, and they can't wait to play, just out of nowhere. I mean, the board, the forums kind of talk about something, then all of a sudden somebody posts says, "Man, I just got the Player's Handbook of DMG, and it's just incredible. Those are 2 of the best looking books I've ever seen." Have you guys been seeing that? I've been seeing this.
Yeah,
Russian bots.
You think
no, not the Russian bots. These would be Seattle bots. These are probably the in-house playtesters and family members. Everybody's being told you got to push this.
That's what I think too, Eric. Yeah, it sounds like that to me too.
Yeah, and I've even been seeing things like, "Oh, this is the best art since AD&D 1A."
Yes,
the best.
I saw one that was, "This is the best laid out book they have ever put out." The DMG. It's the best laid out book that WotC has ever produced. It's amazing. I'm like,
the last Yugo was the best looking Yugo out of all of them.
It was, and it was probably the best running Yugo.
It was the best Yugo you could ask for.
Best Yugo ever.
How do you even know about Yugos, Greg? You were like 1 when they came out, dude. What the fuck, man?
I'm well read, okay?
God damn. Those are ugly motherfuckers. I mean, the Gremlin put the Yugo to shame. It was nuts. It was ugly.
If you're Wizards of the Coast, are you not sending out? Do you not have troops somehow and saying, "Hey, go invade some Facebook groups and go talk about this to create some discussion"?
Yeah, and again, the discussion doesn't feel organic, doesn't feel truthful. I mean,
a lot like Wizards of the Coast,
right? So. I mean, I saw that in one of the OSR groups, and out of the blue, somebody's like, the new books for D&D 2024, which by the way tells me everybody else is referring to, like, if you're in the OSR, you're calling it D&D 5.5.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're calling it D&D 2024. My nose tells me something. And it's like, oh man, it's got the best art since 1E. Well, first off, let's take a step back. Dwarves kicking scones in their fucking smithy with cats roaming around is not D&D art. It might be great art.
What the hell are you talking about?
You don't know about that art?
I haven't seen any. I've
Oh my God, Joe! I'm going to reach over to Connecticut and smack you.
Is that why you didn't get my Joe? Because Joe was the wanting to do something like that in my game. That's what I was calling him out on. And I guess you didn't get the reference.
Oh, I've been ignoring 2024 D&D. I have ignored all of it because I know it's bullshit. Well, what's going on? What they put us some bullshit art?
Oh, he's gonna. You're gonna see it in a second.
Can you share some of this? Can we?
I'm gonna look it up.
Eric, pull a Rob and do a screen share, motherfucker.
I'm doing it.
Give Rob a call, man. What the fuck? What's going on with this guy?
I don't know. He hasn't answered my text at all, so I don't know where he's at.
Jesus Christ! I kind of
like I said. Sometimes he goes on vacation during the holidays and he goes away. So,
but he usually responds to our group text and says, he's a conscientious group texter when it comes to things.
Yeah, well, sometimes he gets tired of getting piled on too. So
yeah, but we haven't talked politics. We set up a whole separate politics group, so he's not involved in it, man. We don't talk politics anymore.
All right, Joe, you have not seen this.
No, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Those are the dwarves nowadays?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look closer. Look closer. There's all kinds of Easter eggs in this picture.
Oh
yes.
my fucking God.
Well,
I gotta maximize this.
All right, so now, Joe, in the lower left corner, there's a little ginger cat rubbing up against the dwarves by the way, in sandals. In a smithy. All right. Let me explain something to anybody who's ever worked around, I don't know, fire, let alone hot pieces of metal. You're not going to be there in your open-toed sandals.
Is he baking muffins?
No, he's baking
that?
Oh, I think it's scones. I think it's dwarven scones.
He's bringing them to the hardworking dwarves of the forest.
The hardworking female Chinese dwarf, apparently.
Yes.
And Joe, I'll bring out a detail that you'll love too. Notice their tattoos. They're tattoos of each other's beards.
Oh my God! Is that how you know who they're married to?
Yeah,
I think so.
Joe, if you look, the guy with the green bandana, right?
Yeah.
He has a beard on his tattoo with rings down it, which is the rings on the
of his
beard
wife,
of the
male wife over there, bringing the fucking stone.
and then the other guy has a braided one that looks like the guy's in the green bandana.
You got to be fucking kidding me. And you got, oh my God, you got the Chinese dwarf, you got the black dwarf, you got them all represented in there.
All right, so Joe, now I got another question for you now.
Oh my God.
Have you seen the Mexican orcs?
I have seen that. That's when I stopped paying attention.
Did you see the elves?
No, what's the elves?
Oh, okay. Let me find the elves.
I
don't even know if I've seen the
That's when I
elves.
checked out his nonsense. Mexican, I mean, where's the fucking burritos? You know?
Well, that would be racist, dude. All right, hold on. Why can't I find a? Wow, this must be art that is so. When I do a D&D 2024 elf art, it doesn't want to show me the full shot. Well, all right, here it was hidden. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you. Don't say we didn't warn you, Joe.
Oh God, here we go.
I don't even know if I know this one.
All right, hold on. Image.
Turn off the. Can you? I guess you can't turn off the comments on the right, so we can see the.
I can hold on. Yeah, I can for a moment. Hold on.
Just to be able to see the wider view of this. There we go.
I haven't seen this one.
What in the hell? Oh God! All right, two women. One is an aqua dwarf. One is
an aqua dwarf. Where's the aqua dwarf?
I mean, if she is,
aqua dwarf.
Yeah, if she's a Grugash or whatever they were in the Unearthed Arcana, she wouldn't be socializing with other elves, but they're holding hands.
There's a drow dwarf with the other.
Yes, there's a mixed marriage.
Well, yeah.
Child.
Is there a straight dwarf
every
in the whole
commercial
picture
you see today?
Is there any testosterone in any of these elves? Is there any?
No. The elves are non-testosterone-ish, but I mean.
Oh my!
So now I was gonna guess that's a drow elf in the right hand corner with the high elf, whatever.
Yeah.
But then the one playing the harp lute weapon, looks like a sword hilt. That they're purple. They're not that bluish. I don't know what kind of elf that is.
Or purple elf. Oh my!
Because we have an African American elf.
Yeah. Apparently.
So
it's
None
terrible.
of them have weapons.
None of these scenes depict any kind of tension or conflict.
No, it could be some tension, but not combat tension. That's for sure.
Mr. Gunn, do they work at Benetton? Perfect. Jesus fucking Christ, that's insane. That's fucking. And what is this in the player's handbook or something? Or
I think that was the player's handbook. Yes.
Holy fucking shit! Where's the blood and gore? Where's the fucking?
There's like zero action shots. That's one of the problems. There's no action shots. It's all these domestic features, and they've been called out on that.
I I gotta tell you this. Here's a preview announcement of my RPG when I publish it one of these years. It will have a strength cap on all females of 3 or 4 less than the males. All right, I'm bringing that shit back. I'm gonna be hated, but it's coming. All right, so here's a prelude to it.
See, that's the kind of thing that YouTube will throttle your videos for doing.
Yeah, no, this isn't right.
Women are to tie that back to previous conversations. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's make sure you balance it with women are more dexterous.
Yeah. No, they're not going to be either. No, nothing. No insight, no dexterity, nothing.
No charisma?
No charisma. Mm-hmm. Maybe bigger tits and maybe dumber decision making.
Well, hopefully bigger bit. Yeah. Bigger bits.
You're gonna have that quote from Jack Nicholson in the that movie. Remember what the fuck was it? As good as it gets. Remember that movie?
Oh gosh, yes.
Remember that? Remember he's a.
How do you write women so well?
Go ahead, Greg. You say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
How do you write women so well? How do you write women?
The video's already demonetized. Go ahead and say it.
Your quote, Joe. I'm just helping you.
He's a famous writer, and he writes his little in his hermit cave and this and that, and he goes into the office to meet the fucking agent or whatever to get something out of him, and the secretary's like giving him the googly eyes. How do you write women so well? Like, implied as a man. He goes, so I think of a man, I take away, was it all reason and all accountability or something like that? It's like, Jesus Christ. And that's in a fucking movie from 20-some years ago. Yeah, no.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you that's the kind of thing that will get you throttled. Now, if you describe in intricate detail the murder or sex between two people, that's totally fine.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
But what you've said is very offensive.
Beyond the pale.
Yes.
Beyond the pale.
You could even have someone murdering while having sex with multiple people. That's totally fine. But if you say anything about the inherent abilities of people, that will goodbye.
God, what a shit show. What a shit show D&D has turned into.
That's what's happened. I remember when people used to get mad when you cursed. That's not even a thing anymore. Like, holy shit. It's really come full circle. Yeah.
Go ahead and curse, God damn it. I don't give a fuck. Ah!
I've heard from Lewis Black we have an 80 fuck limit here.
Oh,
have you ever heard of that?
Got to it yet.
He has a stand-up bit where he wasn't allowed to go to some place, and he was like, they said they counted all the fucks, and they were like, you got 79 fucks, and he's like, I've been told we've got an 80 fuck limit at this point.
Oh God.
I used to really like Lewis Black. You don't catch him on.
No, was he canceled?
He was pretty much canceled with the Opie and Anthony bullshit.
What did he do there?
He was the spot. Lewis Black was the spotter for the couple that had sex in St. Patrick's Cathedral.
He's a spotter or a fluffer?
No, he was a spotter. There was a contest going on in Opie and Anthony for couples to have sex in like the most bizarre places in New York City, and they had sex in a confessional, and he was the official spotter.
She kept an eye out?
Yes, and verified it happened.
I was thinking weightlifting, like he's the spotter.
No.
I'm there to help.
Yes, they're doing it.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, the beginning of the end. When he jumped the shark.
They all come back now.
Lewis Black is on. He's on the show. He does like a little commentary, I think, on. Oh my gosh, what was that show? It's a little like that funny, like satirical news show. That what's the name left?
Daily Show?
Back. Huh? The Daily Show. Yeah. I think he has a spot on there.
Really? All right, John Stewart bringing him back.
What is he? 95 at this point? Jesus.
He lost some weight. He looks a little bit better. I thought he was. Every time I saw Lewis Black, I thought he was going to die on stage.
Yeah.
So he's lost a little weight. He looks a little better.
Well, he was an angry motherfucker, right? He was always angry on stage. His blood pressure must be through the roof after a fucking show. The veins popping out and shit, ready to fucking keel over.
Is it bad that I don't even know who he is?
I just remember from 20 years ago. I mean, that's
I don't remember. Maybe if I saw a picture of him, I know who he
is.
I don't
His
remember.
bit on the Dick Cheney shooting the guy in the face is just It's top shelf. That's one of the best 10 bits of all time. It's so good.
Well, that's how you know he got real power, because the guy who got shot in the face by Dick Cheney apologized for Dick Cheney for all the negative publicity he was getting in the public. I'm like, motherfucker, that's how you know you're the real president, because George W. didn't know what the fuck was going on. Dick was running that show up there back then.
Did they throw a boot? Hold on. There you go.
Oh, we got something. There he is.
There you go. That's it.
Now I remember him having darker hair, obviously.
Old, yeah.
He does look. I don't think I've seen anything.
He doesn't quite look as old as Matt, but he's getting up there.
Well,
it took a while to get him. Matt, we're 50 minutes in before I was waiting to see how long, because we've been focusing on Rob before we got worked into Matt there. So we're 50 minutes in before we took a shot at Matt.
Kind of disappointed. We should have gotten Matt in a lot earlier than this. I mean, because if he's listening, he goes to bed soon, being that old. So we want to get the shots in before he hits the sack,
Yeah, and since he's newly married, he's got to get his 15 minutes of bang, bang, bang before he goes to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. 15 minutes, you're giving him a lot of credit, Eric.
Well, no, I think he's out in 5. I just think his wife doesn't realize.
He falls asleep after 5 and she finishes it off. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, right.
And that guy sent you a nice Christmas card.
Time out.
This is what
time out. No, I got 2.
You got 2.
I got 2.
You got 2. Wow.
I got 2. One to Eric and Rachel, and one to Mr. and Mrs.
So he's truly hit senility here. We can't keep track of his own Christmas cards. That's what it is. Yep.
That's
right. I was like, I got 2 cards. I'm special.
Well, he said he might be changing shifts, and he might be able to get back on first shift and join us again.
Oh my God! I know. So now, listen. If that happens, it means one thing. It means one thing. His wife is like, "Oh shit! How do I keep you in the house?
Yeah,
not out drinking.
That's it.
The boys.
That's it.
Now that you're, spoken for. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. You play your little virtual tabletop shit. Rach was thrilled with us when we first got married, and I was playing on Saturday night. She's like, it's a Saturday night, and I know where my husband is.
Yeah. Back in the college, just the post-college years, when all the other guys we played with, the regulars, my brother, all a bunch of buddies from college days and this and that, we were getting together Fridays or Saturdays. And at one point or another, all of the girlfriends who later became the wives wanted to play one game with us, just to see if we were actually that nerdy, that much of a bunch of fucking losers, that we were actually legitimately home on a Friday and Saturday night playing fucking D&D all night. They actually wanted to sit in and just because they showed up. Amy wants to play. Jen wants to, it's like, yeah, okay. We all knew what it was. We all knew they were coming in to check up on us. And so we played our fucking game. We let them roll up a bullshit character, and they looked around at us, and they never came back because they realized,
no,
just what you said, Eric. He's a fucking loser, but you know what? He's not fucking bitches. So yeah, he's not hitting the clubs, he's not hitting the bars. He's home being a loser. I guess that's what I'm dealing with. I'm stuck with him. All right, it could be worse, but that's how it went. That's how it went.
So there's some security in knowing.
Yeah.
If he's gaming, it isn't like time taken away. It is. Yeah. All right. No, he'll be here. Okay. So, whereas before, time gaming on a VTT was time not with the significant other.
Well, they need a break from us too. I mean,
once they get that ring, the balls and the vice,
yeah,
it's like, oh yeah. You do your gaming stuff now. I don't want to go out on a Friday night. I already got you. Why would I want to waste my time going out?
Yeah, they need a break from
us. It's a good TV night. I got my streaming shows to watch.
Yep.
That's all right.
Hey, Joe's not even really technically unmarried. He's just, women are letting him have a long break from them. They're letting him take extended breaks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, they can let me take an extended break from the marriage. I wouldn't mind less of an extended break from blowjobs. Just throwing it out there to the world. All right, you know what I mean?
So,
Hey, that's
sorry, no walk is coming from this
Just
room.
got awkward.
Yeah, no,
It just
not
got really, really awkward. Wow.
Just so you know, Joe, there's only guys in the chat, I think, right now. So
I know.
Yeah, what part of break
You never
did
know.
you
This
not
thing
get?
might go
Joe?
viral.
I mean, jeez.
This
your
thing might go
target
viral.
audience, know your audience. Yeah.
Oh, a bunch of old guys too.
Hold on, let me take off my dentures first.
Oh, God.
That's a sign of true love, Eric. Actually, you know that.
Can we go? Can we go back to
Man.
Greg ranting? I'd rather just listen.
Yes.
Greg, could you
Yeah.
just rant for another hour and just get rid of this stuff?
No, that's true. I knew a stripper who said that to me. She goes, "I love my man so much, I get my own mic."
Okay.
Come on, anytime you want to start, Greg. Anytime you want to start. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So off the top of my head,
thank
things that would be better for Wizards of the Coast to do in 2025.
VTT. Let's talk VTT. Yeah, come on, VTT.
How's that going to fail? When is it out, and how's it going to fail?
One, they could try to hire people who actually like D&D and want to play D&D and want to talk about playing D&D, not talking about what it would be great if it was or what people should want to do, but say, this is what I did playing D&D, right? Because see, Shadow Dark comes out, I see people post all this. I played Shadow Dark in this hub. I played Shadow Dark in this hub. I haven't seen a single post where somebody said I was playing D&D 2024 and it was so kick ass. This is what happened, right? Has anybody seen it? Where's this post? I don't see it.
No. Listen, I just asked Google the WotC VTT release date, and it's AI overview, which means it scrapes the internet for all the information on WotC's VTT. And you know what the answer it gave me was?
What?
The virtual tabletop from Wizards of the Coast, codenamed Project Sigil, is expected to be released in 2024. The VTT was featured at Gen Con 2024, where Wizards of the Coast executives discussed the project. D&D Beyond, which is integrated with D&D on D&D Beyond, what? Wow. Also has a VTT. It does. Mm-hmm. It's a very basic VTT. So now this means that this is Wizards' failure for 2024. The highly pushed, highly hyped VTT, Project Sigil. I always think of Sybil Shepherd, but I think of Project Sigil. But anyway,
that was a good show. Yeah,
yes, it was. Moonlighting
for the win, baby.
Yeah, but Google has no information on it. Google has no updated release date. As far as it knows, in 4 days, it's gonna be like expired. Take it off the shelf and throw it in the garbage because it. So what's going on with that? They put all their money into that. They hired hundreds of programmers for their VTT. What do we got?
Or did they?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Oh, they claimed we hired hundreds.
Yeah,
maybe even.
Okay, we'll see about that. Yeah.
All right, so Mike, I got a second one for you here. Okay, so the second thing Wizards of the Coast could do in 2025 is they could imagine something that a character in D&D might want to, and this is where it gets really edgy, folks, commit acts of violence in order to accomplish. Okay, so it could be the classic of get rich, but that is no longer a good idea.
Right.
It could be to defend your home against evil things.
There's no evil.
There's no evil things anymore, right? So that's what I'm saying. So they could use all of their Imagineers to come up with something that would be emotionally worthwhile enough that you would actually fight over it.
Okay.
Here's my suggestion.
I have an answer for that.
Cheating. Okay, so since all of these games are set up to be relations, like those two dwarves in the forge, okay, one of them could be cheating with the bisexual Asian dwarf lady, right? And then there could be a fight in the forge, sandals versus boots. I mean, like however you want to strike it down, right?
Skins versus shirts. I love it.
And they could be going at it in the forge over love.
Oh, so then the fight turns into a sex scene.
That's right.
No, because everybody in that forge is damn fucking well they're involved in a polyamorous relationship with all of each other.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
See, Joe, that's where the real imagination is required, because you would have to imagine caring about someone enough to commit violence over them, which, hey, I know, edgy.
All right, so here, I'm going to take it one step further. That has to be in the new starter set, because that is how you're going to bring children into the game.
That's
the
right.
poly shit.
I'm just saying.
I think I've seen this movie though. It's called Death Trap, isn't it, with Michael Caine and Christopher Reeves? I think I've seen this movie.
Love it.
Wow, that is an old film.
Love lattes, Mr. Gunn. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. All right. So, hey, listen, another conflict, of course, is they go to Fantasy Starbucks and somebody doesn't give them the right latte.
Oh.
Eric, then the customer is always right. And
I just watched
the correct latte. I mean,
I just watched a police video which had on YouTube, which had a road rage in the parking lot about whose car was supposed to be where and getting what. And it's like, wow, that could be a great adventure.
Here's how you cause a complete mental breakdown that you would get. What is the corruption point in or whatever the hell is the insanity points from Cthulhu? Here's how you get definite insanity points in the D&D game. Because you're playing D&D, of course, so you go to your local Starbucks equivalent, right? And then you pay them, and let's say the cost comes to let's say 5 gold and 5 silver, right? And you give them 10 gold piece and 5 silver.
Oh no!
It would break their brain. They wouldn't understand why you're giving them too much. What's the extra 5? No. It would cause complete brain.
You can't give me chance. By the way, John Miller has a good question. What we'll want to do if the app, the VTT, fails?
Not if, when. Let's rephrase it as when.
For this crystal ball, I need to go back to D&D 4E and Gleemax.
Yeah. Another homicidal maniac?
You don't remember Gleemax?
Gleemax, the brain. Yes.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh my God. Gleemax was, listen, WotC's going to go Web 2.0.
Yeah.
Decade after the web went to 2.0, they were going to follow up. And that was their whole VTT, the one that they were going to do microtransactions on. They were going to sell individual miniatures for this. Because, you'll pay 25 cents for an orc, and they can just, no cost to create, right? So it's infinite money. But they couldn't get the VTT right because they only had 2 programmers.
And they killed each other. They murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide because there were a couple.
Pro tip, the Gleemax is a magic card.
Well, they couldn't let it go.
Magic the Gathering card. It is an exceptionally rare magic card.
It was Gleemax was, I know what we'll do. Let's kill the print versions of Dragon and Dungeon magazine and make them digital. And we'll make them free for a while with the idea that we'll probably charge subscription prices later. But the content was so shitty that nobody was reading the digital versions. So, I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with Gleemax, but the VTT that stole graphics from Fantasy Grounds and was never working. I was expecting Project Sigil to at least be an open beta with the release of the new rules. I mean, it might have gotten me to check out the new rules just to give the beta a shake. We're not even in an alpha, as far as I can tell. We heard nothing. You hear nothing.
That's what. The only thing that bothered me with that is the fact that we're hearing so little of anything, and you know how these things are. These are not easy to set up, man. I mean, you have games that take years and years and years to fix up, and this has so many moving parts and so much potential to go sideways that that's kind of worrisome. It has to be kind of worrisome that we're not really hearing anything about
what
that.
Is curious. I mean, I only do Roll20 because I fully invested in it for the 5e content, and I never played other things. Rob is a big fan of, I think he did either Foundry or Fantasy Grounds. He has membership.
He wanted to give it years. Yeah.
Right. He did that kind of shit. And it looks so complicated that only Rob or somebody like Rob can understand it. But I mean, of all so you got Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20. What else is there? What is the most popular one in terms of, so how many people use it every day? Does anybody know?
I've used all three, and my experience is, I want you to think, Joe, of a session that you prepped for.
Yeah.
And you did a huge ton of prep. I know this
is every session.
This is unrealistic, right? Okay. And then when you got to the session, the players did something else.
That's every session, right? Motherfucker.
Okay. So now imagine if you had to do double that work to load it in the VTT. That's the problem I have with Fantasy Grounds. Is it the reason why I use Roll20 is I can just show up and in 5 minutes pop the map, put the stuff. Don't have to, don't have to set up backers or anything. Boom, boom, done. Yeah.
Is Roll20 the most popular one then? I mean, I'm trying to figure out in terms of average users per week, month, year, whatever the fuck. What is the metric? Is there any metric out there? Does anybody know what the most popular one is?
Well, here's the thing, and then we also have a comment from Roll for Combat. I'm in the beta for Project Sigil. It's not ready yet.
No shit.
All right. So here's the thing. Fantasy Grounds used to give you an idea of their users because they would do their yearly update and give you their stats of what games are being played, how many. You could figure out their regular usership. And Roll20 used to do OR reports, and OR reports were quarterly reports showing you their usership. And I think the last reports for both companies, especially for Roll20, was like right after COVID. Because I think what happened is after they showed their spike, they didn't want to show their dip.
Yeah.
So they stopped making those. I used to love those reports. I would cover them on the blog side. I was cover them on the YouTube side.
Roll for Combat does. I had to phrase this because I've seen people who have gone to the big Wizards meeting and been razzmatazz with all the fucking, the glitter and the bullshit. And I've seen people who have like maybe done a demo or something like that, talk about it. But it seems like it's staged in a very narrow, limited scope that a user could actually interact with it. Can you say anything about what level of functionality it has? Is it still in like demo beta mode, or is it something functional? Whatever you can say, be interesting to hear.
He's essentially said they really can't say much. It looks nice and amazing, but the videos you have seen is basically what it looks like and how it works. So there's nothing being hidden, because if that's it, then there isn't. The demo was actually an adventure, so it's very limited.
All right, so the demo is an adventure. So in other words, you don't have beta access or alpha access to even a semi-functional thing. You have demo level access. Is that kind of? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that ish what you're saying there? It's functional, it works, but it's missing pretty much all the content.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's something like that. It could be a beta, but you're not betaing the ability to, as a DM, design your own content, to put your own adventure in. It's literally, all right, from my perspective, this seems a lot like if you took Neverwinter Nights to the next level, which is where it's at now. Not saying that's what their goal is for later, but even Neverwinter Nights, you could design your own adventures with it.
Yeah. Sure.
I played in a lot of Neverwinter Nights servers for a handful of times where it's like, oh, hey, it's an open world. But usually those servers were dead. It's like,
yeah.
That's the thing. It's all about prep. It's how much prep do you want to put into it? Now, Joe, like we've run those alien modules where you're running the same module. It's got a type map. It's got everything. That I would probably prefer to run on something like Fantasy Grounds or Foundry, because you could have everything already keyed. You could move stuff around. We wouldn't have to look anything up. But if you have to look anything up, or the players leave that map and just go off in some random ass direction, then now you're starting to have to do prep in real time on. It's
well, Greg. I mean, I bought
much.
a lot of shit on Roll20 for 5e when I was running stuff, and I bought it for my brother for birthdays and Christmases and a lot of content. And you can buy like whatever the fuck those revamped, adventures like the Giant Adventures and this and that, and they are fully populated with monsters and stats and everything else. And so they got the lighting, dynamic lighting plugged in and all that kind of shit. So it's kind of nice if you buy the pre-packaged thing, right? And you can play it and run it. But like you say, if you say I'm going to make a left instead of right and you're off the map, then it's like, oh, fuck me. Now the DM's got to do a lot of scrambling. You know what I mean?
And this Roll for Combat comment brings up that this is the great thing. They wanted to do pre-made adventures. Imagine if instead of what he's describing, imagine if instead they just loaded every monster that's in the book in there as a token already.
Yeah.
You can just grab it easily and just throw it onto the map. It has a system for you to just take a map from anywhere, maybe a bunch of pre-made maps that they make available to you, whatever, and then you're in control. But that's not what they want. That's what I mean about they're not a facilitator of play. Yeah. They want to dictate play to you. So they're gonna set it up so that you have to run their pre-made adventure that you paid $4.99 for, or some bullshit like that, rather than letting you just use it for free.
I think down the line you're going to be able to design your own from preloaded assets. I think that's their goal. But the reality is, not just in beta, but I'm sure upon initial release, it's going to have to be a very curated amount of content, because the more open you make it, the greater a chance somebody like Rob will find a way to make it fucking break down. Because Rob will take it and push it to fucking, and then he'll be like, I put dynamic lighting in 17 different places, but because 3 of them conflicted with 1, then it didn't do this, and you'll be like, okay, Rob.
I'd be more worried about the Joe the Lawyers, because this cuts to the heart. This cuts to the heart of their problem here too. They are terrified that they're going to launch this thing, and there's going to be Joe the Lawyer running a game where women are disadvantaged against men, and he's going to screen cap that, and it's going to go on Twitter, and it's going to have 2 million people look at it, and they're going to go, D&D is like this, and that's what they're so concerned. That's what it goes back to, like the whole argument of these social media companies should be treated as common carriers versus publishers. They want to be treated like publishers some days, and they want to be treated like common carriers other days, and this bullshit.
But Greg, here's the thing: will they allow house rules?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're getting at here.
They can't allow you to have freedom, because if you have freedom, you might not do what they want.
Yeah.
Well, then it's I agree. It's a limited use. It's very, very limited. Extremely.
That's right. I can run anything I want on Roll20, and if somebody puts it on Twitter, nobody's going to be like, Roll20 is endorsing what Greg's doing. No, nobody thinks that way, but they're terrified that's what's going to happen to them because of how myopic and self-centered they are.
I don't know how long Roll for 20 has been watching or is going to be watching. I have a quick question. Do you have, and tell us if you can't say, or tell us if you don't know, but don't tell us anything you're not allowed to tell us. Any fucking idea when this shit's going to go live, dude? You know what I mean?
That's lawyer speak, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I don't want to trap you. In other words, if you can't say, tell us you can't say, and if you don't know, tell us you don't know. And if you're not allowed to say shit, just tell us you're not allowed to say shit. I don't want to get you hung here. You know what I'm saying?
You guys were talking earlier about whether having a the map where you can preload all your stuff. I mean, that's what D&D Beyond has. I mean, that's it's not. You can preload it. I've preloaded maps. I've preloaded all my stuff. So on that, as far as D&D Beyond, you can have several different maps you can click to. You can do those sort of things. They're not to the scale of what Wizards is trying to do, but they do have a functional system by which you can do those things.
So I think again, and this is just my opinion, failure to get the VTT out with the launch of the books. Now, I thought when them spreading out the books over like a 6-month release period, I thought part of that was to buy themselves time. Like, all right, we got this 6-month window where we can release the VTT and say it was released with the new rules. But if you don't get it out with the release of the Monster Manual, you're kind of losing that push. And honestly, I think that the VTT was conceived of, at least initially, because we know none of this stuff happens overnight. This was the result of COVID. This was the result of WotC saying, oh my God, all these people are playing our game on Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and Rodeo Owlbear and whatever else. And they were like, shit, we're not getting any of that money.
Rob just texted us. Did I miss the last show? Me and Paul, get your ass in here, bitch. Wake up with a nap. You're worried.
Did I miss it?
We all nap. It's just whether or not we can. Listen, one time I napped so deeply, Glenn had to call me on my phone. I'm like, are you alive?
Yeah, but what you do? He's napping at 9 p.m. your time. I mean, that's not nap time.
I know. Yeah.
That's not napping. That's
No.
That's really bedtime.
that's a drug problem.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, that's
That was bang bang. Oh shit! It was only supposed to be a quickie. Fuck. But no, they're going to lose their launch window.
Free quickie nap. I got we've all prayed to that.
Yeah, well, but WotC is losing their launch window, and honestly, you look at the VTT, and you know again.
Rob says let him in, Eric. He's texting here. You got.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Okay, hold on. I gotta scroll down. We're getting so full I can't even find him.
He lives, everybody. He lives.
Welcome, Rob.
We were gonna have
I thought we were done with
your house, Rob.
Streaming for the rest of the year.
No.
I love it.
Rob, you'll have to watch the first hour and a half of this.
Yeah, we've just been talking about house rules, everybody's favorite length of house rules.
Yeah.
You know, how to implement them most
We talked
effectively.
a lot about live action role playing. GURPS. 30 minutes on GURPS.
It'd be a cold day in hell before any of you try live action role playing.
Well, now I don't want to do it if you're going to be like that, Rob. Forget it. I don't want to play.
Hey, Mike, what's with your mic, dude? It's getting worse as the show goes. What's going on there?
I keep hearing Eric's mic sounds worse than me, but I guess you don't hear Eric, so I don't understand why.
Not at all. Eric sounds normal. You sound like you're typing while you're talking.
You sound like you got marbles in your mic.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, exactly. Good way to say it, Eric. Yeah, it's strange.
Maybe OnlyFans software is interfering with your headset.
See, WotC doesn't want you to talk, Mike.
I'm trying to multitask. I have a lot of young ladies I take care of on OnlyFans. I have Friday nights just that night. So,
John Miller is saying, I forgot about this. I didn't really talk about this that much. Hasbro was sued for concealing warehouse costs of excess physical inventory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Was that just with Hasbro Toys and Games?
It was Hasbro as the parent company, but I don't quote me, but I believe it also included a lot of their adventures for D&D. But and that's a lawsuit because that affects the price of the stock.
Yeah, that's lying. That's definitely
So we didn't lie. We misspoke.
Yeah. We just didn't count that far down in the stack.
Because
their employees don't know how to count anymore. That's what it is. It's treating teens.
All right. That is offensive. That is offensive. And there's not. You know what? There's not enough senators.
So we're back to complaining about Wizards again.
No, we were actually, Rob, we were busting your balls for a solid hour.
We never stopped.
Yeah. No, we were
I don't like the word solid there. More intermittent.
Solidly intermittent for an hour.
Yeah. We were actually talking about the VTT, and I did a Google search on news on the VTT, and according to Google AI, it's supposed to release by the end of 2024. Right. So we were gonna start a pool on that, and see how accurate it is. But nobody would take my money.
And Roll for Combat said that he's in the beta, or he's in the background testing this shit out, and he says it's fully functional, but there's no real content. But nobody knows. He doesn't even know when the hell it's going to be released, so nobody fucking knows. You know.
So again, I think their effective window would have to be with the Monster Manual release. By the way, there are people, and folks are forgetting this. There are people that have pre-ordered the bundle, the 3-book bundle with like the bookshelf holder shit. And so there's a lot of people who aren't even going to get their 2024 Player's Handbook until the Monster Manual releases. So that is your real release date. And if you don't hit that,
it's your excitement. Yeah, that's the excitement is lost, you know?
So, I mean, part of the reason why D&D 4E failed was the failure of their VTT, which they had banked on for driving it. You can damn well be sure that 5.5 is banking on the VTT to be the engine that drives the D&D property to be $1 billion property. Wasn't that what we were? Shouldn't say we were promised, but this is what Cynthia Williams was bragging about. That she was gonna turn D&D into $1 billion property, and then she left.
Yeah, everybody leaves. They put it out there. They announce what it's going to be. They put a shit ton of money into it. They boost the stock price based on that, and they leave while the getting's good because they know it's going to shit the bed later.
It just tells you what they're actually doing. This is just a stopping point now. This isn't anybody's job.
Mike, your mic is much better. Whatever you did,
what did you do? You took the peanut out of your mouth?
I shut the fucking headphones off. Calm down, guys.
All right, well done.
I'm 61, but I can figure some things out. The headphones weren't charged enough. The charge is bad on them. I haven't charged.
All right, well done.
No, these aren't customer. These are just pass through people now. These aren't career gaming D&D people.
Yeah.
They're going to be going to, Cynthia Williams went on to something else. Whoever's head now is going to be on something else in a year. It's a pass through job. It's not a career anymore.
I'm convinced that Cynthia Williams is Lorraine Williams' secret love child daughter, here to come back and fuck the entire goddamn fucking company up as one last, rage thing for mom there.
They're all going to be interchangeable, Joe. At a certain point, everybody that works for WotC is going to be interchangeable cog. They're all going to do the same thing, say the same things, want the same things. There's going to be no individuality at all because they're all Amazon, Microsoft, I don't know, Tesla execs that, got kicked out of their other job or getting moved around, or they had a scandal, and they're having to work. Your punishment is to work for WotC for a year while, we see if that 17-year-old girl was actually 17 that you knocked up. That's what it's going to be now.
Well, they have other problems from a technical sense. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever seen the D&D 5e rule set for Foundry in action. It's like, Roll20 has a decent setup, but the Foundry and Fantasy Ground is still, while they updated their client, it's still kind of stuck with the old way of, they've been doing it for decades now. But the Foundry, it's like got all the automation for D&D 5e you want. I played a little bit with my friend Dave's group, and I have to admit, it's a pretty slick. Not slick enough to me to learn it, but I could see its potential. And then, as far as the 3D aspect, you have the guys at places like Tailspire who are, they got a 2-year head start on anything that they're doing over at Hasbro or WotC.
Yeah, but I heard about Tailspire a couple of years ago, and then I haven't heard jack shit about them since.
They've been updating on the regular. I have a copy, and if you haven't heard jack shit about it, because it's like anything with social media. They have eyeballs on it, just not your eyeballs. But for one thing, Tailspires have is integration with Hero Forge. You can go and make your character's miniature on Hero Forge, buy the export, and it will appear in Tailspire. I mean, I already tried that with one of my characters that I made on Hero Forge. So, they're trying to jumpstart, leap full feet in with a AAA VTT, but I don't know if they can do it.
I don't think they can. I don't think it's going to be another flop. I mean, how long has Roll20, Foundry, and all these companies been doing this thing? You can't expect to drop 300 people and $100 million or whatever the fuck in it and be able to catch up, because this thing is buggy as shit. How long did every time you put a new release out, you get new bugs, you got to fix it. It takes a long time to have a well-developed product. Their eventual first release is going to be full of shit, problems and issues and everything else, and it's just not. That's the thing. They're gonna run into a bad initial reception because they didn't fucking do it organically. They tried to buy their way into ascendancy, buy their way into the king of the hill. And I don't think you can do that with software. You need the time to develop that shit.
There's a long
you need
graveyard of video games where people tried to buy their way into success like that and just utterly failed, particularly in the MMO market. Tons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Rob. You've been
Look at Lauren Studios. Now, this is a small studio that were passionate about making RPGs. They cut their teeth on. I don't remember the names
of it.
What
are you talking about, Rob? Larian, the one who put Baldur's Gate 3 out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they cut their teeth on something called Divine something, and
Divine Divinity.
Divine Divinity, and but they were really passionate about. They had a passionate team work on Baldur's Gate 3. They had a decent vision of what it could be, and they executed it well. But you can't buy that kind of team. That team was built over a couple decades of working together on other projects.
Yeah.
The same with the, in the VTTs that we got now, all the better ones are all the result of passion projects. Small dedicated teams with decades of experience or years of experience behind them. And meanwhile, Wizards or Hasbro is playing musical chairs with all the departments.
Yeah. Why do you think the Wizards did not choose, other than pure ignorance, but why would you not buy what works? I mean, if you can't beat them, buy them, right? Why would you not say, look, we're going to have something that's already done. We're going to then slap our label on it, and we're going to get this thing done. Why is this obsession to create from ground up?
Because they can't buy it. They don't, because they would be admitting that they suck at it. They want, everybody wants to be the person that brought in the new big division that made the new big thing that made them a shit ton of money. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to be the Bob Iger, the Disney guy who just bought everything. You want to be the guy who created and developed everything because it's better for your own fucking personal resume.
Actually, Joe, that they bought D&D Beyond, so that blows your theory right out of the water.
Yeah, but Rob, D&D Beyond was shit though. What is it? It's a fucking character sheet, goddamn repository. Essentially, that's all it is. Who gives a fuck about that?
They wanted a digital platform, and rather than build their own, like they tried with 4E. I'm not talking the VTT. I'm just talking the stuff that handled book character generation. They bought it.
Yeah, but it's a character generator program is nothing to buy. Plus, they already had a partnership. They already had their feet in there. You know what I mean? They had a relationship with that company. It was an easy purchase.
The answer to your question, Joe, is because they wanted 3D. And at the time when Cynthia Williams had this bright idea in their mind, there wasn't a 3D VTT. Tailspire was developed and released in the interim between the first time we heard of a 5E 3D, one VTT to rule them all, and today. I mean, that's how, with Hasbro is so slow that this small outfit behind Tailspire was able to beat them, get something to market, had several iterations released, build in additional functionality like with Hero Forge. I'm looking at the update. I get an update every other month with a new tool set or something.
I just backed up on what Mike said before in the text comment. There are no actual gamers who are working in management at Wizards of the Coast now. I think it goes beyond just management, Mike. There was a player in my game who shall remain nameless. He, she, they. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. Played in a game that I was running at a game store, and that person now works at Wizards of the Coast. And that person told me that I was the best DM they've ever had. To this day still, and that was years ago when I was a lot worse than I am now, and they've played in a shit ton of games while working for Wizards.
Wow,
I should not be the
bar.
best. I should not be the best if you're working for the company that puts out the fucking game.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
How cringy it was when they tried to assure us all that all these people that were in management now they've all played D&D, and it was
bullshit.
so cringy because first of all, it was a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Second of all, if they played, they said, okay, here's what D&D is. We know you have no fucking clue what D&D is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk you through a game. And they played one game for an hour, and then they got up and they went out to a bar or something.
Exactly.
That was the extent of playing. So all this cringy, oh yeah, everybody, we love D&D. And Cynthia Williams is like, yeah, my brother used to play that. Fuck that. That's
Chris Cocksucker. He says he plays in his game. Bullshit.
I use AI in my game multiple times a week.
Yeah, bullshit. That's just the way to justify it.
This actually brings me to my third idea for Mike for Wizards of the Coast for 2025.
Our entire conversation is within Greg's outline of his remarks here.
What we could do in 2025 is actually this is the fourth one because the finding a reason to fight in your bakery was the third one, I guess, I think. But so the idea is you could start by trying to accomplish a small thing and actually accomplish it, and then move on to a larger thing and accomplish that, and then maybe in the long run accomplish a really great thing.
That doesn't work within a quarterly profit margin.
The idea that World War II is starting and you're going to invent the atom bomb first rather than try to fight the war. That's like, this is ridiculous. Like they're going for the kill shot when they don't even have a bullet, right? Like what are they going to actually accomplish?
But they're not, Greg. They're going for resume padding.
That's what I'm saying.
They can move on.
If they started small, like Eric is a big fan of, what's that? It's not where they're in space with the airships and stuff. What's that setting called? Second edition setting where you're in the Planescape. It's
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer. Yeah, there you go. So I'm saying, don't pick
Spelljammer, Eric.
No, don't. Yeah. You're on mute, Eric. I think.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Eric.
Yeah. I was just saying, I wouldn't pick something like Spelljammer, but I would say just pick a second edition setting that some people like, and then make a YouTube channel for that setting and try to get more people to play that setting, right? Then after you've done that, then you go on to another setting. See, until eventually you have a lot of people who are trying to get more people to play D&D. I know it's a weird idea, but if they start small by trying to get maybe 10 more people to play D&D and then move to 100 more people playing D&D and then 1,000 more people playing D&D, rather than invent the greatest thing for D&D in the universe and then release it in an undisclosed period of time. Instead, they could accomplish one goal at a time. So I've learned from people like Tony Robbins that's what you should do. You should start out with an achievable goal and then move up the ladder towards your more grandiose idea.
What were you saying, Tim? You were going to run over again.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, let's say they do that. Let's say Wizards of the Coast is able to do their little tiny goals, and they do, and they achieve a good working VTT. Let's say they do that.
Okay, fantasy land. Okay, well, I'm with you.
Exactly. We're role players. We can role play that Wizards of the Coast accomplishes something good. Who would you put your money into it?
What do you mean? Subscribe?
No. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, at least for me, they could have the best VT, but the thing is, down the line they're going to fuck it up. And there's the products that you buy on anything from Wizards, if it's electronic, they have the ability to take it away, and it wouldn't be unprecedented for them to take stuff away from you.
Yep.
So I wouldn't trust those fuckers if they had the best VTT out there anyways, because they could change their mind, change their corporate structure at any moment and just pull it all away from you.
I think they would run the VTT just like how they run D&D Beyond. Whatever the good is in D&D Beyond, whatever is the bad, that's how exactly it will play out. And they have a track record with D&D Beyond.
Well, yeah, but they also have a track record of taking PDFs away from people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Can I be heard now?
Yeah, you hear it now.
Right. Somehow my mic stopped working. First off, I am not a Spelljammer fan. I like Planescape a bit more than that. Spelljammer, Hippogriffs in space. What the fuck is that? Oh God,
Eric's an ElfQuest guy.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. All right, one of the things that we learned about the acquisition of D&D Beyond, when D&D Beyond was picked up, the VTT crew and the D&D Beyond crew were both under the impression that they were going to be taking the lead on the new digital initiative.
Yeah.
They weren't integrated. They were two different teams, both saying, no, you should be working for me. And I don't know how that got resolved in the end, but it doesn't usually mean that you're going to have two in-house teams that are really going to be happy with each other. And that's typical corporate bullshit anyway. Initially, it was probably done to make them both work harder to be number one, but then it always means you have to have a number two. They weren't.
Well, I'm sure that the big VTT team thought at the D&D Beyond giving them a middle finger when D&D Beyond had that basic VTT that they released it last year.
Yep, and that basic VTT was, I believe, in the works before they were acquired. It's like there was no communication going on. It's like, well, keep working on our VTT. They didn't say don't. We're getting paid for it. Keep it going.
Yeah.
So, the larger the organization, the more dysfunctional it often gets.
I mean, they bought the whole goddamn D&D Beyond for a mailing list. That's really the main thrust of it. They have millions of people now. They have their character sheets, their information. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. That's all it really was all about. I think they wanted the power and control too. Chris Cox is sucking cock. He's a piece of shit. He says he fucking plays D&D. He's full of fucking shit. Oh, I use AI all the time. Suck my dick, asshole. You don't play D&D. You don't know how to fucking spell D&D, and you don't know how to use AI. You're just fucking repeating the bullshit corporate speak so you could justify fucking people over when you said you wouldn't use AI in the first place. Kiss my fucking hairy beanbag. Anyway,
wow. No, that's a
tell us what you really think, Joe.
That's hot.
Prick.
I don't think you were emphatic enough there.
You
only get a 3 for role playing tonight, Joe.
Somebody said something in the chat that I wanted to get back to real quick. Does anybody, and I'd forgotten about this. God, how did I forget it? Does anybody remember D&D TV?
Oh my
I'd forgotten all about that fiasco.
That was an effort to do something with influencers.
No,
they had a channel, D&D TV, that Eric, you saw some shows there. I could never even.
It was on Freeverse. I don't know if it's still on.
No, it's not. That's why I said it's not on anymore. It's gone. Which it was terrible. It was awful, and it was. If they run, it reminded me of how they run the company now. It was. They had. So they started their own TV channel. They had the D&D cartoon playing 24/7. They had a terrible cooking show. They had a few really terrible live play shows.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it was it was hard to get to, hard to see, hard to find. I had the worst time ever. I finally found some channels on YouTube of all places, and it was just awful. They never had any content for it. And I don't even understand the whole point.
But they sold their studio too. Didn't they sell all their media stuff? Like they sold their movie studios and everything.
Yeah, that was different. So here, according to Google AI, Dungeons & Dragons Adventures, and I can't vouch that this is still up because, remember, they told us the VTT is releasing before the end of the year, is a free ad-supported streaming channel that features original series and classic D&D content. Heroes Feast, a cooking show. I saw about 15 minutes of it. I wanted to slit my wrists to add blood to their fucking food. Encounter Party, a fantasy adventure based on a popular D&D actual play podcast of the same name. And of course, Faster Purple Worm Kill, a comedy show with celebrity guests. Now, originally it was on Amazon Freevee and Plex, with more platforms to be announced, I believe, It is no. It was on. I don't know if it even made it to Plex. I could only find it on Freevee when I did find it, and
that's right. That's where I saw it too, Eric. Right?
Freevee. Yeah, and I was not really encouraged to go back and look. And by the way,
is this a current thing?
This went up in 2023. I don't think
I never even heard of it. Okay,
but here's the thing.
Exactly, nobody ever heard of it because it was that's how they that's them. That's how they do things.
It wasn't part of the production company that they sold. No, this is all. We are going to get together. You can watch the D&D cartoon on that, but here's the issue with it. Most of these like streaming network shows, whatever, have an on-demand part. No, this is live TV. So if you miss it, you miss it. And then you got to wait for the replay, which I'm sure is 24/7 anyway. But this was a whole lot of nothing. And you knew it was a whole lot of nothing when WotC stopped advertising. Its release date, they didn't even go, hey, come look at our new network. They were like, oh, geez. We don't even, maybe it'll just wither on the vine and die.
Okay. New theory. Okay, so what if it's an organized crime front? Okay, it's like the pizza parlor that when you go in, there's nobody there, and you order pizza, and they're like don't even know how to make pizza. Okay, like it's a money laundering operation. So they just produce stuff like this. And then on the balance sheet, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're bringing it in," and that's what this whole lawsuit is getting to the heart of it. It's gonna unravel the whole organized crime syndicate.
The best thing, Greg, is laundromats and parking lots. Right, now, if you want to do that, laundromats and parking lots are the best.
Car washes around here.
All right,
car washes, that'll do it.
True story. Dating back to '97, when I was a rookie, I was stuck on station house security duty. I could only get food within 2 blocks of the precinct. So I walked around to a bodega deli around the corner from the precinct. And I ordered a sandwich. And the guy behind the counter was like, officer, you really don't want to. I went, I go, you're a deli, right? He goes,
in name only.
Yeah. And then I actually look, right? And there's like something that resembled cheese that was turning green, and I don't know what the meat was. He's like, you want food? I go, it's a deli. He says, yeah, you really don't want to. So I go back to the station house empty-handed, and I'm talking to another cop, and he's like, where'd you go to get food? The deli? Dude, that's a numbers joint, and occasionally they sold weed out of the back.
Yeah.
I go, how am I supposed to know? He goes, nobody, even the locals don't go there to buy food. Did they sell you anything? I go, no, he just told me I don't want to. He was like, well, at least he was honest.
Hey, thank you, Steve Cavadas. You're the only one who actually finished that goddamn thing. So I appreciate that. Long 3.5 hour OSR video.
Oh, I watched the whole fucking thing.
Did you really? No shit.
Well, I listened to it. I listened to it. Yeah, I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. It was my love letter to the OSR. I had to get that out of me. I had to do it. It was my thank you.
I think I watched like 10 times speed.
Yeah, it was horrible though because he didn't give Robin of Sherwood any credit. He just called it.
I think
show.
I shit on Robin of Sherwood. If I remember
so you invalidated everything. So
Robin of Sherwood. I mean, you got me into watching that show over COVID because I had nothing else to do, and I'm sitting there fucking even drunk. I couldn't get through that fucking thing. 2 episodes in, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, how do you watch this?
Nothing else to do.
It was great.
Blood Island show. Blood Island.
Blood Island would have been a better show. You
could have written Blood Island.
I know. Well, I was too drunk. There was a few months of a little weed. They legalized weed in Mass. I was doing some runs up to Mass at the time. I had it was like a fucking party. So we had a But here's a question for you guys. If Stranger Things, Big Bang Theory, The Beer Bug, and Critical Role didn't happen, what would be the state of D&D?
Rob would own D&D right now.
Why would I own
Rob would have saved up the money. He would have gotten $100,000 or whatever the price was, and he would have bought it.
Yeah, because all that shit that was all.
Absolutely, Joe. That is my golden triangle of D&D right there. The Stranger Things, Critical Role, Big Bang Theory is. I mean, that's it. And, you know that I remember. Do you remember Gary Con first started? It was like it was rolling along, whatever, no big deal. A couple hundred people.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory talked about it.
Once Big Bang Theory talked about it, suddenly they like doubled their attendance in 1 year from like 400 to 800.
Yeah.
And that just basically set it off. And then once you got Stranger Things and Critical Role into it,
and the beer bug with all the red,
what the hell's beer bug?
COVID.
That blew it up.
Okay.
absolutely blew it up.
Coronavirus, the corona COVID.
Beer bug.
Because all those people actually cared about D&D and liked it, and Wizards of the Coast doesn't like it.
Well,
Interesting.
Bottom line.
That's
Joe,
an interesting point. Look at Faye said. I can't pronounce your fucking rest of your name, Faye. Would be in a better place without all that normie exposure. Did the normie exposure bring in the purple hair freaks? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's a tough.
You know what I mean? Did it make it a target? Did it make it a target for the infusion of bullshit from these people?
No,
I don't know.
Joe, it did not make it a target. D&D, the RPG market by 2015, with the advent of print on demand, drive-through RPG, and the internet as a sales meeting, was basically a self-sustaining hobby niche.
I'm not talking about the RPG market, Rob. I'm talking about D&D at Wizards of the Coast's D&D. That's all I'm talking about right now. I don't give a fuck about the RPG market. My question is, where would D&D be without those four things? That's the point.
I mean, are you in this alternate timeline, Joe?
Yeah, that's exactly that's what I'm saying.
Did still get made, or what happened to 4E and 5? What happened after 4E?
I'm not talking about that, Rob. My question for the fourth time. Without COVID, without Big Bang Theory, without Stranger Things, and without Critical Role, what would D&D be like right now? Not the RPG industry, not the OSR, D&D under Wizards of the Coast. What would it be?
I say we can't speculate, because
that's what we do. We're geeks, motherfucker. That's what we do all day. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, where would it be without mainstream anything popular getting hold of it? It would just be where 5E was its first 2 years.
I'm dropping a link for you, Eric, in the chat, in private chat. This is the exact explanation. There's this theory called geeks, mops, and sociopaths, and it talks about how subcultures get invaded.
That's what I'm talking about. Did that bring the invasion of the lunatics into our hobby, which caused the destruction of it?
Before the thing is cool, you only have kind of fanatics and geeks and stuff, and then at some point it draws in these people called mops, who are like a mop soaks up liquid on the floor, right? So the mops come in and they start soaking everything up, and that is like the money flowing in, right? And then that draws in these sociopaths who want to steal the thing and start sucking up all that stuff for themselves, and so they come in to grift on the mops.
Bingo.
Right. So this is exactly what this is. An old theory. It's been around. Let's see, what, 2008, something, maybe even before 2000, something like way back. And this is exactly what happens. It happens in every community. It happens all the time. As soon as there's enough money, then everybody, all of the mops start coming in. And to me, the real hidden clue for all the geek hobby stuff is women. When you were playing Nintendo by yourself and no girls were playing, you were before mops, right?
Yeah.
But then once girls started getting interested in video games, that's when the mops were really coming, right? So that's what it is. It's as soon as the stops being just a niche thing that weirdo geeks do, and it starts being something you could make a lot of money doing, that's when all these sociopath fuckers come in and they ruin everything.
Yep.
The reason I'm phrasing my answer like that, Joe, is that it would have happened if you said that if Stranger Things, Big Bang Theory, and COVID did not happen. It's just a matter of time.
And Critical Role.
in Critical Role. It's just a matter of time.
No, it's not, Rob.
No, it's not. It didn't happen. It didn't happen to
die off if listen. If it doesn't get momentum, it can shrink. That doesn't say it was going to happen. It does not, Rob. And I know this. We have this discussion a lot of times. It's Rob. You have to acknowledge the fact that you are not the be all and the end all. Other people can have opinions, and they're just as right or wrong as yours. And that's what we're trying to say here: is that yes, you get your opinion. It would definitely happen. Joe is telling you there's no way in fucking hell. Maybe the answer is somewhere in between, but it certainly isn't only one way.
It hasn't happened to the quilting community.
Right?
Get Ivy in this. Get popular enough.
Ivy has to make an appearance. Get her ass in here.
Well, hey, I would challenge that and say put quilting on some popular show and let's see what it does. Right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It would need to become cool, and then like maybe women in the 40 to 60 age bracket instead of the 60 plus start really loading into quilting, and then that's when all the money, the quilting money comes in, and then the sociopaths come in to steal all the quilting money. Like that's what's going to happen. If it or not happen in the case of it's never happening in quilting. I'm sorry, quilters. I love you, but my mom quilts. I'm not. I don't hate quilting.
I mean, isn't that like what Beanie Babies, right? Beanie Babies were this little community, people collected it, and then all of a sudden the normals are like, oh, I can make money off this shit. There's losers that will buy these Beanie Babies off me on whatever, the beginnings of eBay. And then it exploded, and then it shrank because, there wasn't any support for that market. And of course, Beanie Babies creator was like, oh, we'll just make billions more and saturated the market. And then Beanie Babies were worth nothing.
Look at Daryl. Daryl stopped playing D&D 32 years ago. If it weren't for the beer bug and the OGL crisis, it would have not have noticed TTRPGs again. That's my point. I don't think 5e, the 2015 version, would have been jack shit if it weren't for those four things.
Oh, it would have been something, but it wouldn't be
nowhere near what it is.
That would be there's no way. COVID. You can look at the sales numbers. You can look at the VTT numbers.
Yep.
You can look at the drunkenness that Hasbro looked at the 2020 numbers and was like, oh my God, we got to turn this into $1 billion IP. D&D is so under-monetized. It was under-monetized because they saw what COVID could do. So there's a lot of these factors, but to blow something up like that doesn't just happen out of the blue. Now, I'm not saying that 2014 would have faded away, but it would never have gotten to the point where WotC would have been like, "Oh shit, we got to kill the OGL."
Yeah.
Exactly. We're giving away money.
Chris Cox would be going over to Wuhan, China, sucking every dick over there for that fucking infusion of cash.
Given what the behavior of Hasbro towards their other IP, D&D, the crisis was absent a popular fad. The crisis of D&D somewhere between 2014 and now would have been they just shutter the brand.
That's why I said you would.
Nobody would own it. They wouldn't sell it. They got tons of stuff, and only like the bare minimum has escaped their clutches. And only because some mostly if you look at their war gamers, they have a huge library of war games, and only a handful that's escaped their grip. There's a big problem with the wargaming because Hasbro owns the IP to all of Avon Hill and all of SPI.
Yep.
And yet some of them managed to escape, but not many.
And the thing is,
well, that's my emphasis earlier. Sorry, my emphasis earlier on YouTube is, which Flint brought up originally, but like YouTube is the game changer for them. Could be if they would actually put the energy into it, because what they need is to keep making it cool. And see, they thought, okay, well, we've let these other shows have made it cool. Now we're gonna just drink up the sweet cash.
Yeah,
but they have to start putting effort into making it cool.
They don't have the.
Think about it.
Lane,
everything we just mentioned was something they didn't do. That they didn't create Stranger Things. They didn't create The Big Bang Theory. That God, I hope they didn't create
Critical Role.
And they didn't do any of that. That's all stuff that just happened organically. I mean, Critical Role was something that just happened too. They didn't create Critical Role. That all these things just happened, and then they pad them. You know, what's the saying is that that they act like they were
hit a triple born on third base.
Yeah, born on third base. Yeah, that's the basic thing. They were like, oh man, look what we did. We can monetize this thing now because we're so awesome. We can triple our. What was it, Eric? We're going to triple their profit or something.
I mean, dude, don't discount that.
Yeah, well,
I didn't get them credit for that. You know what? Those video games take 5 to 7 years to develop. That was something that somebody did 7 years ago, and they just happened to hit right then. And then once again, the golden goose laid an egg right in their lap. And if oh look what we did. No, you didn't do shit. That was. I think that was a deal Mike Morris made 7 years ago.
Right.
And everybody forgot about it.
If you're born on third base, you should really try to hit a single. Right, at least just a single. Like, don't even go for the triple. Like, just get the run in. That's what I'm saying. Like, they can't even do
the tabletop tap room. They have no clue what is cool, nor could they ever, with their existing management structure, put a YouTube show of a bunch of fun people playing D&D because they'd be checking the DEI checklist for representation, and the game would be so fucking sanitized there'd be no death or combat or anything. It would be the most useless fucking show ever. I mean, you want a good show for advertising?
You've circled back to my first point, Joe.
Have Tim's show. Watch that
was my first point. Yeah.
That's a good fucking advertiser for Shadow Dark. Advertiser for any RPG. You know what I mean? Well, shit like that.
How about this for an alternate timeline? So, we didn't have somebody come out of the woodwork. There's not a show that really caught on that had like Stranger Things that had D&D. So it comes around 2018 or whatever, and D&D fails to meet the sales target, and Hasbro decides to deep six it, and just say for the record, there was a little bit of an outcry among social media and stuff. Oh no, D&D, my beloved. But so Hasbro put out a half-assed box set, try to cash on it, and then they did a poor job of it. And that they said after that, they said screw it. Well, what would the it's now 5 years later, what would the RPG industry and hobby look like without somebody actually pushing the D&D brand, without any D&D brand being sold?
D&D collapsed, in other words, Rob. If there was no longer a D&D 5e or any D&D product out there, what would the hobby look like?
Yeah, remember, we still have access to the D&D rules,
right?
But that part of the timeline hasn't changed.
Paizo would be the back to the big boy in the
once again, yeah.
I agree. There would still be people, no matter how hard WotC fails, and they keep setting new records. But as hard as they fail, there's always going to be a company out there that actually does want to do what the customer is asking for, and they will deliver it. And that's what Paizo was at first. Like when Pathfinder came out, they were like, look at this giant conglomerate stepping on its dick. Let me give you what you want.
Yeah, they were young and
tons of people went over there. Yeah, and then every edition, we've just repeated this tale. Now we're gonna have a 5e OSR now. That's gonna be because they're stepping on their dick again. Like it's ridiculous. They're stupid.
I think the audience with Robson, I think the audience would have shrunk. I don't think Paizo would have. I don't think they would have had enough pull. I think they had their own internal problems at the time as well. But the fact is, I think that the market would have shrunk, which would not. I don't think it entirely would have been a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah. That would have a bigger footprint in the market.
Is that more people would have been more creative with what already existed, and it would come from the bottom up, versus top down. And I think you'd have a different landscape, a smaller landscape, but far more people, I think, involved in the sense of creating.
Yeah, and don't forget Kickstarter. I mean, that's the biggest change in 5 years, that last 5 years that we had. And we're not talking, I'm not talking to 5e Kickstarters. Look at our own OSR Kickstarter, out of print edition, older themes. And
yeah, I think Flint nails it there. Because it would force people to go a path like this applies to so many media. What you said, Flint, that I would rather have a good thing for a small number of people than a bland, shitty thing and a huge number of people, right? I would rather have a Star Wars that only a few people liked if it was good, rather than a massive number of people who know about Star Wars and it's shit. Right.
Look at the MCU. First 3 phases, awesome. The infusion of the sociopaths and the mop heads come in, and now it's all bullshit. It sucks ass,
Well, listen, when we had the OGL drama, okay, one of the things going on behind the scenes where there were a number of third-party publishers pooling together resources and funds and basically planning on I guess you could say crowdfunding, but crowd publishing replacement for 5e because they needed an open rule set to continue. And what WotC was effectively doing was trying to close off 5e to these publishers without taking a huge cut of their monies. WotC backed off, but this is no different than if WotC suddenly said, we're pulling D&D from the market. You need an active rule set. Like, people could play 5e forever, but we even know as OSR gamers, most people aren't going out and still playing 1e or 2e or pulling out the original white box. They're pulling out clones that are in print or simulacrums that are in print because it's better written, it's more organized.
Better layout,
and you can get your players to buy actual material as opposed to having to find books on the secondhand market. So I think what you would have probably have happened if it wasn't Paizo stepping in, or again, I'm not going to name the companies that were involved in this plan to essentially clone 5e as an open game while scraping off the serial numbers. But they're still in the market now. They just didn't have to do that, what they feared they were going to have to do. But somebody would have stepped up and said, you would have had 5e or whatever they were going to call it to take its place, to keep that system in print.
I mean, Morris has a version of that right now, the dash hole from fucking EN World, right?
Yeah.
He has the 5e, was it up or level up or where the
level up. It's like, if you think that 5e goes to 11, his goes to 11 and a half.
Yeah, it's more nonsense, but me Morris, I wouldn't expect anything less than
that. And there's Black Flag from was it Cobalt?
Cobalt, yeah, but they renamed it some pussy ass name. It's no longer Black Flag.
It's not Black
Tales of the Valiant.
Tales of the
Valiant.
Yeah, Tales of the Valiant. Fuck you. What a bitch ass thing. Black Flag was pirates. Black Flag was attitude. Black Flag was everything Morg Borg wanted to fucking be. Black Flag was awesome.
And then Tales of the Valiant is Prince Valiant from the cartoon strips, which was out of print probably by the 70s. Who the hell wants to play Prince Valiant? I don't.
I want to kill shit and take their fucking stuff.
It's not very marketable.
Black Flag, baby. That's Black Flag.
It's not very marketable. And didn't Cobalt Press, and somebody help me with this, talk about their finances lately? I don't
know.
Wolfgang?
Didn't Wolfgang talk about I don't know if it was less fine. I don't want to step on all this, but there was an announcement about finances. I don't know what it was. I don't know if that's directly linked to the production of how well their RPG did. I don't know.
Don't put a wussy ass name on your fucking product, and then you would do a little bit better. That's all I got to say.
I guarantee you, some marketing person looked at that. Some marketing person looked at that and said, "That's the name of a bug spray."
Yeah, exactly.
And also, it's a scary name. And
that was a pencil pusher.
It's all about pirates.
I gave you the link.
And I
there it is. There, Rob has it. Rob beat Greg to the link. Wow.
Is this the one?
I wasn't even looking for the link.
Rob is showing up.
I think I already got the link too at the same time. Hold on a second.
What's the deal? What did he say? Is he fucked? Is he losing money because he changed to a pussy name, or is it what?
Well, okay, so now, folks, here's the other thing when it comes to Tales of the Valiant or Black Flag.
Rod Garcia disagreeing. Never heard of you before, Rod, but let's hear it. Lay out the argument while we look this up.
All right. Well, so here's the thing that with Black Flag, it was in the works before the OGL drama. This isn't talked about much, but it was already in the works, which means Wolfgang is not stupid. Wolfgang was hearing, he knows the people at WotC, he gains the people at WotC. He was probably hearing the rumblings of OGL drama and was like, all right, I need to secure my business. Yeah. My business relies on the 5e rule set. I better have an alternative in play. So I think that he was insightful enough to get this ball rolling. So when the OGL drama hit, he hit the ground running.
Yeah, he was ready to go. He's talking about post-holiday blues. Dark Clouds are not he's doing good this year because of the Kickstarters, Tales of the Valiant, blah, blah, blah. But he's talking tariffs and trade wars. He's thinking Trump's probably going to fucking nail tariffs or whatever and trade wars and blah, blah, blah. China, he's printing shit in China. Alternatives, looking for alternatives, how it's going to affect our costs, yada, yada, yada. So he's going to...
But all these are hypotheticals on the future of Wizards of the Coast not shooting their own products in the face.
Yeah.
If they would just go back and just not murder their own children, then they would have success. It could have been, instead of 4th edition wiping out 3rd edition and creating Pathfinder, they could have released D&D Tactics. Instead of 5th edition coming along and wiping out 4th edition, they could have made D&D cinematic or whatever they want to call it, and just keep doing. There's no reason you can only publish one fucking game. It's stupid. And so all this stuff, that's what I'm saying. The heart of it is that they're riddled with such horrifically bad business practices.
But Greg, if they looked at all their shit, here's the thing. Look, picture Wizards of the Coast today, right? They're going in there and they're looking at what they have in the record, and everybody who's looking at it comes at it with a fucking critical race theory perspective that says this is racist, homophobic, whatever the fuck ism or anti whatever the fuck going on today. They're going to say, we can't possibly publish this because it would offend too many fucking people. That's the problem. They're looking at their shit and they're saying, nope, can't do it. It's too toxic. We need to write new stuff with fucking Chinese dwarves and dwarves with tattoos of their girlfriend dwarf. You know what I mean? This is what they're looking at here. And so they don't know what they have. And
I know, Joe, my second point was that they needed to design a game where you have something worth fighting over.
Well, they don't know how to do that. They have all this shit there, but they don't know how to make use of it. It's like a dude with a fucking 12-inch cock not knowing how to fuck. That's what we're dealing with here. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Whoa, Eric.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're back in the gutter.
Joe's been hitting the mushrooms tonight, fellas.
No, well, just maker's mark, really.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe slow down there, Cowboy.
It's just more than
take a water break. Take a water break.
Office. There's just a long-term trend that the traditional methods of where you're a publisher, you order a print run, you put it in distribution, the game stores pick it up. That only works if you have the volume to support it, and the volume you need to support that chain continues to increase year by year in order to remain profitable. And if you can't support that volume, then you're back to running a Kickstarter to cover your initial cost. You do it then for your long tail sales, you rely on print on demand and PDF sales. You make sure you have stuff in your VTT, and you develop a diverse revenue stream of your different products that you sell. So you make sure you have your PDF, you have your VTT modules, and you have your print on demand, and you run your occasional Kickstarter to get people actual quality books that you order from your offset printers. Basically, you do what Kevin Crawford has been doing for a couple of years successfully.
By the way, let's throw a quick thing out. We're also on Rumble tonight. PS Caglione 3 threw $5 into the tip jar on Rumble. So thank you very much.
Can I say something? I want to say that real quick. Thanks, Rod Garcia, for making those points. I think you're completely wrong, but I appreciate you bringing those points up. And I'll give you an example. Gary always used to say, and this is proven by numbers, that D&D was just kind of trundling along, it was doing whatever, and then the Dallas Egbert situation happened, and that changed the entire future of D&D. Their sales quadrupled in a year for that, and media caught on to it. There were stories about D&D everywhere, and he used to always say that we would have never been anything what we were. I mean, in 1983, 84, they outsold Monopoly, which is insane.
Well, I think Gary was partially right on that, because people forget that time period was also the big war game boom.
The what?
War games, Hex Encounter war games like Avalon Hill, SPI. From the same time that the D&D boom, the war games boom, and when the bloom came off, when the wheels came off of D&D, the wheels came off of war games too. There was a larger trend of gaming that was happening at the time. Now D&D was the top because of the it was helped by the D&D by the sewer incident. That's why it became the largest gaming company. But SPI and Avalon Hill were enjoying banner years there as well.
I think that was more the coattails of D&D.
Which, by the way, you think about what happened in the short run. It really helped TSR because they made just a ridiculous amount of money in a short period of time. But in the long run, it probably brought about Gary's firing and destruction, because you had people like the Blooms that had absolutely no clue how to run a multi-million-dollar company. They were fine running it when it was just, bringing in a few $100,000 a year. But once they hit the big time, they had no clue what they were doing. And that's when the layoffs started. That's when Gary went to Hollywood and was screwing around in Hollywood, and everything, just the whole downfall of the company. So maybe it would have advanced more organically if they hadn't had that crazy, incident with Dallas Egbert and the sewers that he was never actually really in, by the way.
Okay. All right.
All that stuff.
What if this, Mike? Okay. What if we find a bunch of traveler people? All right. And we start having them mysteriously disappear, and they were taken by these drones that are flying over the Northeast, right? All right. And they've been taken away because Traveler is actually a way of communicating with the alien overlords. And then we just keep feeding that as a viral phenomenon and get people to really believe you have to play Traveler in order to access this alien knowledge.
So this is going to sound ridiculous, but I actually... a few friends of mine once sat around with a mental exercise years and years ago. These are guys I played D&D with my whole life, and we had a what if. And so our what if was, how do you go back in time? How do you make other games that come out at the same time as popular as D&D did? In other words, you have Traveler. It's 1979. What do you do to make it more popular? You have, I can't even remember whatever else is coming out. Tunnels and Trolls, whatever. And so it all revolved around the fact that you had to you could make the game better as much as you want, but you can't duplicate an organic media event like that Dallas Egbert thing is. You can't. I mean, what are you gonna do? Have somebody hold somebody hostage and have a Traveler T-shirt?
Yes.
I mean, there's just you just can't. That's something organic to it. And everything we talked about, we're just like, no, that wouldn't work because you'd have to have this, and how would you make Top Secret more popular? I don't know. There's just no. You just think about it. You're like, I just can't. I can't do it. And it just has to be organic. It has to be, and that's why I think the whole thing with, the whole thing that the popularity of D&D now, Stranger Things was, it was a couple of nerd guys that loved D&D. They stuck it in their incredibly popular, Netflix show, which up till then blew every record Netflix had about watching, and of course everybody talked about it. I mean, you can't plan that. That's organic, and you just can't.
Everybody knows what the hell Demogorgon is. Well, they know what Stranger Things version of Demogorgon is,
which is insane. Yeah, that's insane. 20 years ago, you'd have laughed at that. That's
90% of people used to know what Demogorgon was prior to that fucking show. And half of them are here. I mean, in our audience, this is it.
Mike, you got to think bigger.
So, Eric, I posted 2 links. I like alternate history, and I only had one really good idea for an alternate history story, and I wrote it on my blog, and it's about what somebody asked me, how could an RPG develop differently? And I really thought about it, and the most plausible outcome that I could come out with that RPG started in the with the science fiction boom of the late 1930s, and it originated as an aid for science fiction writers to help them write science fiction stories, but the guy used dice. So it was basically, think of it as a version of Traveler where you use dice to generate character description, dice to generate worlds, and then it developed into a game. And it's there. You can look at it to see how plausible you think of it is. But I shared it over the years, and people seem to enjoy it. So you might get a kick out of it, Mike.
But by the way, I did think of one thing we thought of to make travel more popular, and I think this would have worked. And we talked about this before. Remember those books that came out that was there were the something Terran Authority books that had those really kick-ass sci-fi art of somebody's got to know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I blanked on the name. It was a series of books. They were big tabletop books. They were hardcover, and they had these gorgeous color pictures of space.
Somebody was talking about it in North Texas. Somebody had a copy. Yes.
That art, instead of the crap ass art Tavern had, which was just awful, the art that was there was awful, and there was very little of it. If you'd have had somebody like that say, no, we're going to spend a little money on art, I think, because I remember getting those books at Christmas, like 77, 78, around there, and I was absolutely fascinated with those books. I read through them all, and those were just the most amazing. That was some of the best artwork ever. In those books. I think if you had artwork like that,
I gotta say, my Santa Claus sucked balls compared to your Santa Claus. All right, I got like socks and underwear.
Okay, I'll tell you something. I grew up really wealthy, but it didn't stick. He went bankrupt in 1981, but until then, we had a lot of money. So I actually did have some really good Christmas. But I learned the value. I learned the value of all that crap, because after that he went broke, and it was just like, okay, well,
So there is a Pacific point of departure, and so basically D&D originated when Dave Aronson went down to Lake Geneva to run Blackmore for the Lake Geneva crew.
I just hear that sigh, Tim. He was speaking 2 words where he's like audible.
Oh, I thought that was Rach, but she's not.
That was Tim. I saw the exhale and then look at the feet come across his face. Rob said a history lecture.
All right, forget it.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Rob.
Terran Trade Authority. That's it. Terran Trade Authority. They look up those books. They're incredible. Just still great books. They're still incredible books. But that's what we figured. If that would have been done, I think the popularity of Traveler would have skyrocketed. Just, not even changing the rules, just have artwork, because that was one. If you look back on what D&D did, that was one of the big advantages it had. It had good artwork. I mean, not good by today's standards, you might say, but good for the time. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It had the best artwork of probably. I can't think of another game that had artwork that evocative. That was out at the same time, and just the artwork alone, and I think that was something a lot of those companies skimped on. Tunnels and Trolls. I mean, Chivalry and Sorcery. They had good covers, but their interior art was terrible. I mean, nobody had art like D&D.
I would say the best chance for something other than D&D to be RPG related would have been, Gygax and Dave Aronson never hooked up. So Gygax never was inspired to write D&D, but all those Brownstein games, all those campaigns going on, and then Star Wars hits, and everybody say, hey, we can apply this to Star Wars, and then whatever comes out of that becomes the first role-playing game.
But Rob, that's why Traveler should have been huge. Star Wars is big. Star Trek made its big comeback in 80, 81. I mean, Traveler had the launching pad. It had everything in its favor. Sci-fi was getting huge right then. It just never capitalized on it.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Traveler had computers that were the size of your house in your little starship. Two. Even Star Wars was at least good on the fantasy stuff. But folks, we've hit the witching hour. We've gone into overtime. You got not just more hosts, but you got a full thingy of hosts. But you got your extra for the last show of 2024. Now there are 2 more live streams on this channel for 2024. Tomorrow night, my wife and I will be doing Gamers Health, 8 o'clock Eastern, and New Year's Eve, because I'm 57. I have no fucking life. I will be on. Joe will be out partying. Trust me. But those of us who aren't going to be out partying on New Year's Eve, 11:30 Eastern, Rach and I are going to go live. We'll probably stay on at least until midnight Central Time. So we'll celebrate at least 2 New Year's Eves. If you join the Discord server, and I'll have a link up tomorrow night, but I could probably put a link up briefly tonight. If you join the Discord server, I don't need notes. What do I need? Captions. Here we go. If you join the Discord server using this link, won't expire. On Tuesday in the Gamers Health little section of the Discord server, I'm going to include an invite to Restream. So anybody from the community who wants to join at any time, it's an open room. It makes it a lot easier than me and Rach talking about absolutely nothing for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But so our way to open it up to the community, those of you that want to hang out with us and have nothing to do on New Year's Eve. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying if you don't and you want to join us, feel free.
So you're Dick Clark. Is that what you're saying, Eric?
We'll be Dick Clark. Maybe I'll even put Dick Clark on. Look, is Dick still alive?
Little Viagra Dicks are really going a long time, Eric.
Even when he was still doing it, he was kind of like in that mode.
I think they got that other guy doing it now for him. I don't. That Dick Clark hasn't
Ryan Seacrest.
God, I hate Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, he's
just so plastic. He makes plastic look like
he's the worst brand of toothpaste.
You put a match to his face, it'll melt.
Jesus. Listen, folks. First off, thank you to everybody on the live stream.
You're welcome.
Having seven of us is awesome. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Listen, we've been in for over 2 hours. There's still 41 of you watching us.
Jeez.
Wow.
God bless you.
We get those numbers every week.
Yeah, I know.
Plus 3 from my channel. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Again,
one of which is Greg and me. 2 are due there. So yeah.
Again, thanks to P.S. Caglione, number 3, for the tip in the Rumble tip jar. Rumble has 8 viewers. Holy crap!
Wow.
And X has 13. It's showing me that there's more to the world than just YouTube, and thank you for that, really. So, on that note, thank you. And
quick recommendation, guys. I got to say, real quick, I saw the new Bob Dylan movie that dropped the other day.
Oh, how was it?
Fucking fantastic. I never go back to watch movies twice in a theater. This may be the first one I've done since one of the Marvels.
Really? I haven't watched a movie in the theater since D&D.
No, it's fantastic. It was really, really good. I'm going to go back and watch it, I think, again. It was just this guy, Timothée Chalamet, did an amazing job, an amazing, amazing job. And when I got home that night, I put on, I guess Amazon has this Bob Dylan documentary done by Martin Scorsese. It's like 4 fucking hours long.
Oh, jeez.
I purchased that for $15 and I started watching that. It was so good. That movie was really, if you're a Dylan fan like I am, just fucking do it. It's worth it.
Love Dylan. Saw him live as part of David Letterman's special one year.
Oh, wow.
He was so fucking high, he could sing like a Rolling Stone. Sing the low up or had to like go, I go stone the rolls. It's like, oh my God.
I heard that Nosferatu is also amazing.
I heard that too.
My favorite guy, Critical Drinker, likes it.
Yeah, I follow.
I had a friend of mine say it's a must see over the holidays if you like vampire movies. Matter of fact, he said it was one of the top 10 vampire movies he's ever seen.
Really?
He's a huge horror fan too. So I trust. Just a buddy of mine that loves movies.
All right.
Way more than I do. Even
they may do a double feature at some point this weekend. Both of them then. Yeah, it was well worth it, guys. So if you like Dylan, definitely go see it.
All right, folks.
Who is Bob Dylan again?
Oh, shut up, you fucking millennial.
Holy fuck,
Baby,
man.
look at that baby over there. Wah, wah.
He's that famous quilter.
Oh, oh my God, folks! Happy New Year! Thank you for spending 2024 with us. We hope to see all of you and more in 2025. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well, and